Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. My Sharingan has too many functions. Chapter 61. That kid killed his mother. My child would have been beaten to death long ago. Sounds came into Wiping's ears one after another in the darkness. Get out of here. It's all because of you. Why don't you die? Stay away from him. I heard that his mother was killed by him. Humph, Wei Ping. You really have no education at all. Oh, I forgot, you have no mother. Ha ha ha, you are so useless. Wei Ping, with tears on his face, closed his eyes and curled up, surrounded by darkness. Listening to these sounds, he covered his ears tightly with his hands. But the sound could still reach his mind. As the number of voices increased, a figure appeared behind each voice. They kept pointing at the curled up Wei Ping, and you could see their mouths opening and closing before saying something. Ridicule, and abuse were like knives piercing Wei Ping's body. The anger in his heart rose quickly, and Wei Ping opened his eyes fiercely. Go to hell. Da 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 da. Boom. As soon as Zhao Fan came to this fantasy world, he heard the sound of gunfire like in a gunfight movie. Before he could clearly see his surroundings, his pupils shrank slightly and he grabbed forward with his right hand. Snap. Zhao Fan felt a pain in the palm of his hand, and then spread his hand, only to see a bullet made of energy on the palm of his hand. Quote. Zhao Fan looked at the bullet in his somewhat red palm with some confusion. You must know that ordinary firearms are no longer a threat to gold-level superpowers, not to mention that Zhao Fan's physical strength is much stronger than most gold-level superpowers. This bullet can actually make him feel pain, and it is already a gold-level attack strength. Seeing the energy of the bullet dissipate, Zhao Fan raised his eyes and looked in the direction of the bullet. He wanted to see who it was that suddenly attacked him. Ha 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 ha. Go to hell. Go to hell. Let you talk about me. Wei Pian showed his face and shouted ferociously. At the same time, various machine guns, submachine guns and other weapons were constantly being summoned around him, and they were attacking the open space in front of him crazily. He himself was holding an AK on his waist and shooting around. Wiping. Zhao Fan looked up and saw this scene. Obviously, the bullet just now was, accidentally, fired by Wei Ping. Why do you say he was careless? Zhao Fan could tell that Wiping was also in an illusion at this time. However, unlike Shu Baoduo, his illusion obviously does not affect his behavior in reality. Call out. Another bullet flew towards him. Zhao Fan tilted his head slightly and dodged the bullet attack. He moved his eyes away from Wei Ping and looked at the position behind Wei Ping. Just behind Wiping's crazy attack, where he couldn't hit. There were 5 foxes lying there, with gray-white hair and shining eyes. Is this waiting for Wiping to exhaust his mental energy? Such thoughts flashed through his mind, and when he looked at Wei Ping's summoned energy guns that were constantly changing, Zhao Fan had one more guess in his mind. Just when Zhao Fan looked over, 6 pairs of eyes suddenly looked at Zhao Fan at this time. The next moment, Zhao Fan discovered that there was a swamp under his feet, and his body was sinking rapidly. Looking at the speed, I am afraid that he will all sink into the swamp soon. At this time, one of the foxes stood up from the ground and walked towards Zhao Fan with elegant steps. A little bit of saliva flowed from the corner of its mouth. It was obvious that this fox wanted to come over and bite Zhao Fan to death. Zhao Fan was still sinking. At this time, the swamp had reached his chest, and the fox had stopped a few meters away from him. The fox tilted its head slightly and looked at Zhao Fan, drooling on the ground. The fox's eyes exuded a strange light, and his eyes were full of desire for prey. When the swamp submerged Zhao Fan's hands and reached his neck, the fox took action again, rushed over quickly, and bit Zhao Fan's exposed neck. Zhao Fan Sharingan, who had been silent all this time, moved slightly. Ooh! The fox bit the air fiercely, and then found that it had fallen into the swamp, and the prey that was supposed to be killed by it was now standing where it was. This sudden change made it struggle crazily. The fox's head, which was just exposed, also began to purr. Zhao Fan stepped on the exposed fox head. The other 4 foxes naturally noticed the changes here. They quickly got up from the ground, and started to whine when they saw that Zhao Fan was about to kill their companion. Wei Ping, who had been attacking randomly, suddenly moved towards Zhao Fan. Various firearms were changed, and a large amount of bullets were poured towards Zhao Fan. The monster's IQ is obviously growing. Zhao Fan murmured in a low voice, and at the same time, his movements suddenly became faster, trampling the fox to death, and then the whole figure disappeared from the place. Wu, seeing that this method did not prevent their companions from dying, and seeing Zhao Fan's figure disappear, the remaining 4 foxes were stunned and immediately looked around. Among them, the obviously larger fox was scanning every corner with vigilance. Wu, the 4 foxes suddenly found a figure next to them, and were startled. Then they showed a fierce look and attacked Zhao Fan with bared teeth. Bang! At this time, Wei Ping, who was attacking Wei Ping frantically, suddenly stopped and finally fell to the ground with a plop. Look again, Zhao Fan is right next to Wei Ping, and his right hand that has not yet been withdrawn proves that he knocked Wei Ping unconscious. Hey, I'm afraid the people who can join my team are poor people, right? Are they really not prepared at all? Zhao Fan grabbed Wei Ping's neck and lifted him up, quickly moving away from the 4 foxes. The 4 foxes who were about to attack the figure in front of them also noticed Wei Ping's movements, and a look of confusion suddenly flashed in their eyes. The next second, the figure in front of them suddenly swelled. Boom, boo. The place where the 4 foxes were was suddenly exploded, and then 4 shadows flew out and fell to the ground hard, with painful whinnying and whimpering sounds. After struggling a few times, the slightly larger fox managed to stand up, trembling. After Zhao Fan put Wei Ping away, he immediately killed the 3 foxes that were still wailing and came to the larger fox. Wu, the fox obviously understood that it had no chance to resist, and immediately lay down on the ground, exposing its belly. At the same time, it twisted around and whined at Zhao Fan, which sounded like a coquettish act. The gray hair and the blood stains on its body make this scene more likely to make people feel pity. Zhao Fan narrowed his eyes slightly, watching the fox's movements and its mental power that was still trying to affect him. Then, he kicked the fox on the head and killed it. It's quite cute. It's a pity. I'm more curious about what's inside you. Zhao Fan whispered. Sharingan stared at the fox's abdomen. There is a strong energy reaction there. He took out a knife from the storage ring. This was a weapon specially prepared by Zhao Fan. Well, it wasn't really a weapon. It was just a preparation he made to deal with the situation before him. He also dealt with the previous monsters in the same way. Use a knife to cut open the fox's abdomen, and you will see an irregular crystal slipping out of it. The crystal was emitting purple light, and Zhao Fan's eyes lit up when he saw it. Phantom crystal. Zhao Fan picked up the magic crystal, wiped it clean with the fox's fur, and then put it away. The magic crystal actually doesn't have a great effect on cultivation. It only has the effect of amplifying the illusion. In fact, the phantom crystal itself is a material for making fantasy spirit-like creatures. For this single magic crystal, Zhao Fan can exchange it for 1,000 points by selling it to the academy. Not bad, not bad. Nodding with satisfaction, Zhao Fan also removed the materials from these demon foxes and put them away. He returned to Wei Ping's side and patted his face. The force he used just now was not very strong. With his gold-level physical fitness, he should be able to wake up in about 10 minutes. But when he patted Wei Ping's face until it was a little red and swollen, Wei Ping still didn't wake up. Zhao Fan stood up directly, looked at Wei Ping, and moved his fingers. Water style, abridged version of Water Dragon Bullet. A small water dragon made of water appeared out of thin air and shot toward Wei Ping's face. After the water splashed, Wei Ping suddenly jumped up. Then, when he saw Zhao Fan standing beside him, Wei Ping's body shook violently, and then he remembered that he was in an illusion, and he immediately wanted to summon his best weapon. Why do you consume so much mental energy? Wei Ping felt the little mental power he had left, glanced at Zhao Fan who was close at hand, gritted his teeth, and a desert eagle appeared in his hand. Go to hell, illusion. Wei Ping directly aimed at Zhao Fan's figure and wanted to pull the trigger. Looking at the stupid Wei Ping, Zhao Fan quickly reached out and grabbed the desert eagle pointed at him. With a slight exertion, the weapon made of energy collapsed. How is that possible? Wei Ping knew that the hardness of the weapon he summoned was not weak, and it could withstand even a specially made sword for a while. The illusion in front of him was actually crushed by Zhao Fan with just the palm of his hand. For a moment, Wei Ping felt that he didn't need to resist facing such an illusion, right? Wiping. You are saved. Bye. Zhao Fan didn't know that Wei Ping thought he was in an illusion at this time, so he just dropped these words and walked towards the energy wall. The energy reaction there attracted him. Looking at Zhao Fan leaving, Wei Ping suddenly looked confused. As Zhao Fan left, he finally realized that he was not in an illusion now. Hiss. After relaxing, Wei Ping also felt the pain on his face. When he touched his face, he found that his face was swollen. Looking around, he saw traces of blood and explosions. Wei Ping murmured in a low voice with some joy. Okay, I'm still alive. I can't die. Hey, Wei Ping. Just when Wei Ping was calming down, he suddenly heard someone calling him. His heart suddenly tightened and he looked over. Shu Baoduo. When Wei Ping saw Shu Baoduo passing through the energy wall, his vigilance relaxed slightly and he looked at the other party cautiously. Well, where is our Captain Zhao Fan? I watched him pass through here. Shu Baoduo also noticed Wei Ping's vigilance. He didn't move too far forward and waved his hand to Wei Ping to indicate that he didn't need to be nervous. Then he asked Wei Ping. Team leader. Shu Baoduo's words stunned Wei Ping for a moment, then he pointed in the direction Zhao Fan left and spoke. The captain is heading there. Shu Baoduo nodded, quickly observed the surrounding environment with his small eyes, and then tentatively asked Wei Ping. Wei Ping, were you also rescued by the captain? Ha, you too. These words immediately cheered up Wei Ping, who was still a little autistic. When he saw Shu Baoduo, he thought Shu Baoduo was not affected by the illusion. He thought that he was saved by Zhao Fan. Being saved by a freshman who was 1 year younger than him was not something worth showing off. Well, my fantasy is. Seeing that Wei Ping was interested in talking, Shu Baoduo looked at the direction Zhao Fan was leaving, and then began to chat with Wei Ping about his findings in the fantasy world. That's too dangerous. Yes, if it weren't for the captain, I might have directly become the nourishment for that demon plant. When Wei Ping listened to Shu Baoduo's words, he didn't hide anything and told what he knew. Both of them were saved by Zhao Fan, so the relationship between them was no longer so unfamiliar. Isn't the captain a new student? How can he be so powerful? Wei Ping sighed. Well, who knows, if I look at it, the captain may have reached the gold level. Shu Baoduo even guessed. After the two looked at each other, it was obvious that the other party had the same guess. I can't understand it. Shu Baoduo and Wei Ping shook their heads and sighed. At this time, Zhao Fan did not know that because of him, the relationship between Shu Baoduo and Wei Ping had become harmonious. He was looking at the sea of flowers in front of him with some depression. Zhao Fan originally thought he would meet Wei Jia in this illusion, but he didn't expect that as soon as he entered, he would be surrounded by a sea of flowers. Yes, he was surrounded by a sea of flowers. If these words were just ordinary flowers, they would naturally not have any impact on Zhao Fan. The problem is that this sea of flowers is not ordinary. No matter how Zhao Fan walked in the sea of flowers, he couldn't get out. And no matter whether Zhao Fan is destroyed by his body or by fire style or something, Huahai will return to its original state in the next second. Even with Sharingan, it was impossible to see the flaws in the sea of flowers in front of him in a short time. He could only see that the energy of the entire sea of flowers was a whole, and he was wrapped up in this whole. Even if he floats briefly on the golden stage, the sea of flowers will enlarge and rise accordingly. Zhao Fan could not escape from the sea of flowers. This is outrageous. Zhao Fan complained depressedly. If he hadn't felt any discomfort in the sea of flowers, he would have wanted to use Mangekyo. This is the first time Zhao Fan has encountered this situation. Keeping complaining, Zhao Fan once again looked for a different place in the sea of flowers. If this is an overall illusion, there must be a core position in it. This location may be hidden in the sea of flowers. Zhao Fan only needs to use Sharingan's insight to find it. Just when Zhao Fan entered the sea of flowers, a figure came here where the four of them entered the illusion. Is this where it is? The man looked at the crystal fragments on the ground, and the flickering energy on them echoed the other complete crystal in his hand. Obviously, there is a certain connection between the two. As soon as his mental power moved, the crystal fragments on the ground flew up and fell into the man's hand. Then, the man walked into the illusion in front of him without hesitation. When his figure disappeared and entered the illusion, the place returned to peace again. After a few seconds, a jeering laughter sounded and dispersed with the breeze, as if it had never appeared. Nice one. Weia, who was draped in a large piece of black cloth, looked at Lingzi in front of him with slightly bright eyes. Then he looked around cautiously and tightened the wooden statue in his hands. The sense of clarity that came from it meant that he didn't need to worry about being affected by the illusion. The black cloth he wears can prevent him from being noticed by monsters, block his smell, and simulate the external environment when used, just like a chameleon. Just these two items almost consumed his points. It can be said that he is very poor now. There are no more points left to exchange for training resources. So when he got here, he didn't let go of any spiritual plant or spiritual object. After carefully putting away the spiritual plant, Weia slowly left this position. The disappearance of the spiritual plant energy immediately caused commotion among the surrounding monsters. But they could never find the thief, and they could only roar helplessly and furiously. Weia held his breath, tightened the wooden statue in his hands again, and walked softly past a monster beast. With the wood attribute ability, he can determine the location of spiritual plants through the induction of wood attribute energy. It can only have such an effect on spiritual plants. He has basically taken all the demonic plants here, and now he needs to move to another place. Weia thought to himself, and after carefully avoiding several monsters, he came to the vicinity of the energy wall. As soon as he got here, Weijia's body stopped instantly. His eyes were fixed on the wall of energy. The originally colorless energy wall now had several red lines on it. When Weia placed his eyes on the red line, he felt as if he was seeing gushing blood. What's this? The energy coming from the wooden statue again made Weijia's mind clear. He immediately looked away from the red line and whispered in a panic. If it weren't for the wooden statue in his hand, he might have fallen into an illusion. Weia was in trouble for a moment. The energy wall now had such changes, and he did not dare to pass through it easily anymore. Who knows if it will cause any changes? But he didn't plan to go back to find those monsters, and simply started practicing on the spot. He spent a lot of money along the way. After all, using the wooden statue and black cloth also requires mental energy. This flower is not and does not exist here. Where is it? Zhao Fan quickly looked at all the flowers in front of him, then changed positions again and continued to look for different places among them. Zhao Fan has been using Sharingan to check energy changes and subtle changes. It can be said that Zhao Fan has gradually adapted to Sharingan's insight ability. This is just like the FPS games of previous generations. Some people can see a change in 1 pixel, but most people can't. During this period, Zhao Fan used Sharingan's hypnosis and genjutsu abilities the most, and his use of insight was not obvious. Zhao Fan was trapped in the illusion of the Sea of Flowers. He already knew why the Sea of Flowers could keep regenerating. The special energy contained in it told Zhao Fan that this was part of the rules of the illusion. As long as he found the core point, he could leave the Sea of Flowers. This illusion is made like a formation. Zhao Fan, who searched again to no avail, sighed and said, Formation. Zhao Fan seemed to have thought of something and looked up at the sky. There was nothing special except for the energy. Since there is nothing in the sky, right? Zhao Fan looked at the land under his feet. Should I take a look first and then talk about it? Eyes closed and opened 1 second, the next. Earth style. Earth dragon hidden. The earth and stone under Zhao Fan's feet suddenly softened, and Zhao Fan's figure instantly dived into the ground. Found it. Zhao Fan, who successfully entered the earth using earth style, looked at the strange energy flowing out of the cracks in the soil, which was obviously different from the surrounding energy. Only this direction has such strange energy. It's actually hidden underground. Tut. How stupid. Zhao Fan cursed himself secretly and quickly moved towards the direction of the energy outflow. As Zhao Fan got closer, the reaction to this strange energy became more and more obvious. Then, Zhao Fan felt that the surrounding soil suddenly became empty, and he came to an empty room full of strange energy. Really? Basement. Zhao Fan could see at a glance that the source of these strange energies was a tree root 2 fists thick, which was somewhat similar to ginseng. This tree root is more like a work of art than a plant. Dark green with a moist and crystal feel. Just like fine jade. And for some reason, Zhao Fan can breathe normally here even without using earth style. Maybe this is also the function of strange energy. Zhao Fan looked at the tree roots that looked like works of art, but could not find any information related to this spiritual plant for a while. I simply wanted to collect the roots of the tree. When his hand just touched the root of the tree. Lonely and colluding, walking alone, enlightened, melons and melons, I regard them as a model. Detects 50,000 points of absorbable energy. Is it absorbed? The sudden sound from the system shocked Zhao Fan. Wait a minute, 50,000. Zhao Fan thought he heard it wrong and immediately checked the system's prompt tone. So much. Zhao Fan immediately looked at the root of the tree with great curiosity. Good guy, such a thing has reached the full value of gold-level spiritual power. Naturally, he did not hesitate and directly agreed to absorb it. Then the tree root suddenly seemed to have lost its spiritual energy, leaving only a shell. The original luster was gone, and the strange energy in the space began to dissipate. Zhao Fan just tested it and found that this strange energy cannot be used to increase mental power, and with such rich energy, he naturally would not keep it and absorb it directly. In this way, his current energy value has returned to more than 370,000. One step closer to the million goal. Zhao Fan happily returned to the ground and saw that the original sea of flowers had disappeared. Obviously, this illusion had no effect after losing the strange energy of the tree roots. There were no other spiritual plant monsters here. After scanning around to make sure nothing was missing, Zhao Fan continued to the energy wall, preparing to go to the next illusion. Maybe the changes on the wall also caught Zhao Fan's attention. This energy. Zhao Fan looked at the inexplicable red lines on the energy wall, and he could feel that it was full of negative emotions. Fortunately, it had no effect on him, so Zhao Fan followed its energy reaction to find its source. However, after looking for a long time, Zhao Fan could not find where these red lines came from. It was as if it appeared out of thin air. At this moment, another person suddenly entered this little illusion. Zhao Fan, who noticed the movement, looked towards the person. Is someone coming? Zhao Fan thought it was Wei Ping and Shu Baoduo. After all, this possibility was the highest. But after seeing clearly who the person was, Zhao Fan narrowed his eyes slightly, his eyes cold. He has not forgotten this person. He was the only one among the teachers who had great malice towards him after he came out of the newcomer's secret realm. Phew, I finally found you, kid. Luay had a hoarse voice and looked at Zhao Fan in front of him with a little joy and resentment. Luay's bloodshot eyes were filled with fierceness, and occasionally there was a flash of bloodthirsty. Originally there was no relationship between him and Zhao Fan. But he had been at the Golden Peak for too long. When that person found him and asked him to prevent a newly awakened student from going to college, he could get enough training resources to make a breakthrough. Luay naturally agreed without saying a word. When he thought about it, a boy who had only awakened E-level powers, with his status as a member of Qinglong Academy, could do whatever he wanted with it. However, reality slapped him in the face. Whether it was Zhao Fan's actual combat ability in the newcomer's secret realm or the illusion of being able to defeat Wang Dan, his intention to suppress and stop Zhao Fan failed. Naturally, Luay didn't have the resources that could have allowed him to break through to the diamond level. He didn't know how long it would take him to prepare on his own. Cutting off a person's financial path will arouse hatred, not to mention the fact that Luay's hope of breakthrough is gone because of Zhao Fan. It's a pity that even if Luay had evil intentions and wanted to deal with Zhao Fan, he had no chance. During the time he was in Z City, Zhao Li was hanging around him almost all the time. All I have to do is say openly that I'm spying on you. He could only give up. However, when Zhao Fan entered school, Luay knew that Zhao Fan was already rich. This made him feel as uncomfortable as eating shit. He had been stuck in gold, and coupled with his malice towards Zhao Fan, he became extremely jealous after hearing the news. Why does a kid with E-level powers advance so quickly? Why did he waste nearly 10 years in gold? At the same time, Zhao Fan's rapid promotion also gave him a sense of crisis. If Zhao Fan reaches the gold level again, wouldn't he have no chance at all? Even if that person never showed up again after looking for him, he still held on to that luck. Maybe, as long as he gets rid of Zhao Fan, he can get the resources for a breakthrough. Luay never considered that if this was the case, why it would be better for that person not to directly send someone to kill Zhao Fan. He only knew that if Zhao Fan could not go to the academy and die, he would be able to obtain the resources for a breakthrough. This is why he found Zhao Fan. As long as I kill you, I will be able to break through. Kill you. After Lu Buwei saw Zhao Fan, he felt that his mind was filled with jealousy and resentment towards Zhao Fan, and he kept telling him to kill Zhao Fan quickly. Zhao Fan looked coldly at Lu Buwei, who was a little crazy. He remembered this person. As for his name, it didn't matter. He would naturally not let go of someone who had the intention to kill him. In fact, Zhao Fan wanted to take action when he felt Lu Buwei's murderous intention. He doesn't have the leisure to waste time by talking nonsense before killing people. In his heart, he is neither the villain nor the protagonist. But the picture Sharingan saw made him have to stop first. Because the red energy on the energy wall also appeared on Lu Buwei's body. It seemed that Lu Buwei had just passed through the energy wall, which caused the red energy to attach to his body. It seems that red can bring out the darker side of people's psyches. Something was obviously wrong with Lu Buwei's state at this time, with bloodshot eyes and a crazy look. Moreover, judging from his appearance, it seems that the degree of influence is getting deeper and deeper. Jihieji, breakthrough, resources, kill you, Lu Buwei roared, and at the same time, supernatural fluctuations began to appear all over his body. Lu Buwei's upper body did not change, but his lower body turned into a spider 3 to 4 meters wide, including legs. Lu Buwei's voice was still chanting, kill you, kill you. The 8 spider legs moved quickly and rushed toward Zhao Fan with a whooshing sound. After almost a distance, they took off and threw out a spider web from their big belly, which kept spinning and spreading. Lu Buwei was very fast. After throwing the spider web and landing on the ground, white bows and arrows suddenly appeared on his upper body, which was still humanoid. Seeing Lu Buwei's rapid fighting state, Zhao Fan Sharingan moved slightly. Does this red energy even appear in supernatural energy? Looking at the spider web covering him, Zhao Fan could clearly see that there were traces of red energy in the white spider silk. Not only does it have negative emotional effects, but it can also invade supernatural powers. No, it should be infection and assimilation. Zhao Fan leaned on the Sharingan and stared closely at the energy changes on Lu Buwei's body, keenly seeing that the red energy was like a dye, constantly exaggerating Lu Buwei's mental power and abilities. This really looks like a virus. Zhao Fan murmured. This situation caused Lu Buwei's state to become more and more crazy and extreme. The spider web fell, as if falling in the air, across Zhao Fan's body. Zhao Fan just moved his steps slightly and walked to a place where there were no cobwebs. Seeing this, Lu Buwei tightened his bow and shot it at Zhao Fan, passing directly through Zhao Fan's chest with the spider silk. Seeing that he had attacked Zhao Fan, Lu Buwei's eyes flashed with excitement, but Zhao Fan calmly moved 2 steps to the side. The spider silk on the chest did not cause any harm or hindrance to Zhao Fan. Ah, go to hell, kill you. Lu Buwei was instantly stimulated, and the 8 spider legs moved back and forth. Zhao Fan frowned at this time. He found that genjutsu had no effect on Lu Buwei. Even when Lu Buwei looked at him, he didn't look like he was struck by genjutsu. His pupil power could not capture Lu Buwei's consciousness, so there was no way to pull him into the spiritual space. He looked at the big spider that was moving quickly and attacking him constantly. Zhao Fan's figure flickered, and then another Zhao Fan appeared where Lu Buwei couldn't see him. In this case, it's better not to touch it as much as possible. Zhao Fan simply gave up any fighting method of contacting the opponent and created a clone to attract Lu Buwei's attention. As he closed and opened his eyes, his right eye began to bleed. Amaterasu. Zhao Fan decided to be on the safe side and directly use Amaterasu to deal with the opponent. Black flames quickly swept through Lu Buwei's body, and painful screams also came from it. It can be seen that Lu Buwei, who is wrapped in black flames, is still trying to struggle, but the power of Amaterasu is not something that a gold-level person like him can withstand. No, what kind of flame is this? The severe pain seemed to clear up Lu Buwei's consciousness. He panicked and tried to use his mental power and supernatural energy to extinguish the flames. However, his actions only made Amaterasu's fever grow stronger. And he persisted for 5 full seconds before being burned to death. Then, another second passed before his body was burned to ashes by Amaterasu. The pain from his right eye made Zhao Fan uncomfortable. This time he turned on Mangekyo for a longer time. Moreover, he also discovered that after reaching the gold level, people burned by Amaterasu already have a certain ability to struggle. Hiss. There was still a slight sound from the place where Luay disappeared, which made Zhao Fan feel nervous. He could only approach carefully and use his left eye to check. A wisp of red energy as thick as a thumb and as thin as a snake is still burning with black flames. At the same time, this red energy is like a living thing, twisting and swinging continuously. There are still some traces of corrosion on the surrounding land. Fortunately, the red energy did not last long, and was burned away by the remaining Amaterasu flames after a few seconds. Seeing the red energy reacting like this, Zhao Fan felt chills stand on end for a moment and murmured in a low voice. This thing, is it possible that it's really alive? Zhao Fan, who felt a little scared in his heart, rubbed his face vigorously. Zhao Fan didn't know whether this red energy would affect him. After all fear came from the unknown. Originally, Zhao Fan didn't take the red energy seriously. After all, he had Sharingan. When he saw the red energy, he just felt that it contained negative energy. It didn't attract his attention. But looking at the teacher from Qinglong Academy, you can tell that this thing is not a good thing. Even Zhao Fan has to thank Luay. Otherwise, if he was careless and was infected by the red energy after passing through the energy wall, Zhao Fan would not know what would happen. Zhao Fan rubbed his eyes to relieve the soreness in his eyes. The pain has subsided, but Zhao Fan can feel that the vision in his right eye is already lower than that of his left eye. Hey, what should I do? Zhao Fan looked at the red energy on the energy wall. After such a delay, the amount of red energy on it had increased. In other words, even if Zhao Fan passes through the energy wall at the fastest speed, there is no way to guarantee that he will not be stained with red energy. In a dark space, Master Jealous Demon's energy has almost invaded. After it is completed, you can collect the energy in blood. You can vaguely see several figures here, and this voice was made by one of them. Master Jealous Demon is really powerful. I'm afraid those humans never thought that this secret realm was discovered by us on purpose. This time, collecting all the energy and blood of these humans should be able to recover some of the injuries of Lord Jealous Demon. The dialogue coming out of the figure made people shudder. By the way, how is the situation outside? Everything is normal, so humans didn't find anything. Even if they did, it doesn't matter if they have the energy of Lord Jealous Demon. Between them, there is a hemispherical crystal with red energy. At the same time, it reflects the situation in the secret realm. The eyes of these figures were focused on the crystal hemisphere, watching the changes in the secret realm. The red energy was almost completely covering the entire secret realm. They all know that this crystal hemisphere is the core of this secret realm. As long as Lord Jealous Demon's energy infection is completed, the secret realm will basically be decided by them. So they are all waiting until the moment when the secret realm is completely wrapped. Half a day had passed, and Song Yukai, who had been waiting outside the secret realm, felt a bad feeling in his heart for no reason at this time. My whole heart suddenly felt empty. It seemed like something was happening. Song Yukai stood up directly from where he was resting and waiting. The feeling in his heart suddenly made him a little restless. How so? Is something going to happen? Song Yukai frowned and muttered to himself uncertainly. He had encountered this kind of sudden whim before, but at that time he was on the frontline monster battlefield. Relying on this feeling, he narrowly escaped the big demon's sneak attack. The so-called great demon is a demon beast that has reached the star level or above. Such a great demon is no longer as simple as possessing intelligence. It can be said that the great demon is an intelligent race. When the first spiritual energy was revived, when the first big demon appeared, it taught mankind a heavy lesson. The pioneer leader of mankind died under the design of the great demon. If it weren't for the sacrifice of some people to turn the tide and die together with this big monster, the human race would have been exterminated. Song Yukai's mind was spinning. Although the feeling this time was not as palpitating as before, it also indicated that something related to him would happen. Moreover, it is still a bad thing. Song Yukai looked at the entrance to the secret realm again, and there was nothing strange about it. But the uneasiness in his heart made him quickly come to the city defenders guarding the place and asked. I want to ask, has anyone come out of it after such a long time? No, no one came out. The two city defenders looked at each other and answered in unison. Song Yukai's heart couldn't help but sink. You must know that nearly 5 hours have passed, and a lot of individual people have entered before. In any case, the possibility that no one has come out of the secret realm so far is too small. But Song Yukai couldn't be sure if there was something wrong with the secret realm. How about waiting any longer? Song Yukai thought so, but the inexplicable feeling still made him feel agitated. No, check again. Song Yukai still made up his mind to report the situation here to the college. After a while, the two people arrived at the secret realm. As soon as the older one appeared, he shouted to Song Yukai from a distance. Old Song, if there is no problem with this secret realm, I won't be able to afford 2 big meals for wasting my time. Song Yukai put aside the uneasiness in his heart and responded. Old Fang, when you have time, you can give it a good rub. Don't I have feelings? I'm worried about those children. When the two of them got closer, the older one was naturally called Lao Fang by Song Yukai, while the younger one was a young man, looking around curiously. I didn't expect you, Old Song, would worry about the students when you became a teacher in the college. This is my nephew. It just so happens that the academy said that you have a problem here and need a gold-level child, so I will bring him here. Xiao Yuan, this is your Uncle Song, please say hello. Hello Uncle Song. The young man greeted Song Yukai politely. Song Yukai also smiled and nodded. This is Fang Yuan. I didn't expect it to be at the gold level. Not bad. Song Yukai looked at Lao Fang again and said seriously. No less than a few hundred people have entered this secret realm, but no one has come out so far, so I applied to the academy for another gold level to test whether the access to the secret realm is normal. Although the secret realm will basically be randomly teleported after entering, the information about the exit will automatically appear in the mind of the person who enters the secret realm. So there won't be anyone who doesn't know where the exit is and is locked in. Of course, Lu Qi's words are another matter. Under normal circumstances, the secret realm can be entered and exited. If the strength is insufficient, it is very possible to die inside. However, Song Yukai is worried about another situation now. That's right, you really need to pay attention to it. After hearing this, Lao Fang also understood Song Yukai's thoughts. It can be said that the rules of the secret realm have always been the direction of their exploration. This is also related to the safety of students in the college. If students die outside due to lack of strength or personal grudges, they will not feel anything. After all, most people have come through this. If they don't experience this, how can they be independent? But if students die due to other reasons in the secret realm, it is not the original intention of the academy. Especially now, when no student has come out of the secret realm for a long time, it is enough to attract their attention. Xiao Yuan, try entering this secret realm. Pay attention to safety and come out immediately after entering. Lao Fang turned his head and said to his nephew Fang Yuan. Then, Song Yukai handed Fang Yuan a small stone, which was exactly the same as the one he gave to Zhao Fan and others before. Apparently, this is also a talisman. Fang Yuan, this is the secret realm amulet. If you encounter any danger, you can just crush it and teleport it out. Okay, I will pay attention, Uncle Song. Fang Yuan nodded, took the stone in his hand, and came to the entrance of the secret realm. Looking at the entrance to the secret realm curiously, he found that there was a red light flashing on the energy of the entrance. Fang Yuan didn't care, thinking that this was the characteristic of the secret realm, and stepped directly to prepare to enter. With a muffled sound, Fang Yuan pressed directly against the light curtain at the entrance, as if he had hit a wall, and was not teleported away by the secret realm. Isn't this secret realm inaccessible? Broken. Song Yukai and Lao Fang also saw this scene, and their faces suddenly became serious. Uncle Song, I can't enter this secret realm. Fang Yuan looked at Song Yukai with some disappointment. He was quite curious when he heard that he could enter a newly discovered golden secret realm. As a result, I arrived at the door but couldn't get in. Of course you will be disappointed. Xiao Yuan, come here quickly and stay away from the entrance of the secret realm. Lao Fang waved to Fang Yuan seriously. At the same time, Fang Yuan was unable to enter the secret realm. The two city defenders also realized that something was wrong and immediately reported the information here. They originally thought that Song Yukai was too cautious, but it turned out that there was really a problem in the secret realm. Then Song Yukai and Lao Feng came to the entrance of the secret realm and looked carefully at the energy on the light curtain. No, why is there so much red energy on it? As Song Yukai approached, he discovered a special place at the entrance to the secret realm. You must know that when he looked at it just now, it wasn't there yet. As a result, after Lao Feng and the two came over, after such a period of time, there was more red energy on it when he looked at it. His uneasiness suddenly became stronger. Song Yukai also told Lao Feng about this discovery. In other words, this red energy doesn't exist in the first place. The old man looked at the red energy solemnly, stretched out his hand and placed it on the light screen. No, the strength of the secret realm is still at the gold level. Anyone who exceeds this strength will not be able to enter. After testing it for a while, Lao Feng shook his head and said, "This will be difficult." Song Yukai frowned and stretched out his hand as well, but instead of placing it on the light screen, he held it in the air and a golden brush appeared in his hand. This is his special ability, summoning the magic pen. Song Yukai held the pen in his hand and moved directly on the secret realm light screen. Wrote the character, Xiao. When the last stroke was completed, the word, Qi, lit up slightly, and then a ray of red energy ran out from the light screen. At the same time, an inexplicable fluctuation spread throughout everyone present. Why do I have to guard the secret realm here? Why? They all have time to practice, so what's the use of me guarding it here? Then why should this old man have Ah Zhen? He doesn't deserve it. I, Ah Chang, am her true love. The person Ah Zhen loves is me. Qi Tian, why are you stronger than me? Why are you stronger than me? And those scoundrels, sooner or later I will let you know the price of mocking me. For a moment, the two city defenders and Fang Yuan were suddenly affected by this fluctuation, and their minds were filled with jealousy and prejudice against certain people and certain things. Even their eyes had a hint of jealousy and madness. Fang Yuan's strength was the lowest in the field, so he was also the most affected. At this time, his eyes were red, he was breathing heavily, and there was resentment in his eyes. Lao Feng and Song Yukai calmed down as soon as they noticed something was wrong. At the same time, he also noticed the changes in Fang Yuan and the others. Song Yukai reacted quickly and wrote the word, Feng, as fast as he could, and landed on the red energy. Immediately afterwards, a light ball composed of energy wrapped up the red energy, with a pale golden seal flashing on it. Song Yukai's face twitched. He didn't expect that sealing such a ray of energy would consume more mental power than he expected. At this time, the affected city defenders also woke up. After all, they were guarding this secret realm, and naturally they also carried some equipment to prevent illusions. As for Fang Yuan, a jade pendant around his neck was shimmering, and his expression became calmer at this time. How could this level of power appear in the golden secret realm? Song Yukai and Lao Feng were very confused, and their expressions became increasingly difficult to look at. With such energy, it is obvious that something has happened in the secret realm that they don't know about. People who enter the secret realm like this are probably not safe anymore. Tell me, what did you feel just now? Song Yukai did not let go of his knowledge of this ray of energy and asked the two city defenders how they felt just now. The two people were a little embarrassed, but now they no longer had the extreme thinking they had just now, and they still expressed their psychological feelings just now. Just now I suddenly started to be jealous of those who don't need to guard the secret realm. I'm the same way. I'm jealous of others. As they spoke, the two of them recalled their specific feelings just now, and then added. The emotions were very strong, and I even had thoughts of killing someone. Song Yukai and Lao Feng listened carefully, and the expressions on their faces began to turn gloomy. They already know what this red energy does. The answer also appeared in their minds. Even they don't want to believe it's true. Oops. This is the power of the great demon. Song Yukai gritted his teeth and said that he did not expect that such a change would occur during this exploration of the secret realm. Lao Feng nodded in agreement, but frowned tightly, then looked at Song Yukai and said. Fortunately, I'm here this time. You may have never seen this big demon before. This is a big demon of the Xingyu level, called the jealousy demon. It is a special cat demon with a strong jealousy. This is nothing at first, but no one knows how it rose to the star moon level. When it was discovered, its energy became like this changes. It can be said that it caused a lot of trouble to the front line on the battlefield. Later, Mr. Sun personally sniped at the jealous demon, and it took him 3 days to seriously injure the jealous demon. Unfortunately, the jealous demon hid itself after being seriously injured. No one knows where it is hiding. Lao Feng touched the stubble on his chin and looked at the entrance of the secret realm again. A golden secret realm. It stands to reason that the great demon no longer values the resources in it. That's not right. The jealous demon should be seriously injured now, maybe. Lao Feng suddenly thought of what those big demons loved most, which was to devour the blood of human beings, especially those with advanced powers. For big demons, the energy contained in it attracts them the most. Snap. Suddenly, Lao Feng gave himself a slap in the face. After returning from the battlefield, I actually slacked off. I didn't even think of this. Old song, hurry up. Contact the city lord, otherwise everyone in this secret realm will die. Lao Feng suddenly spoke to Song Yukai urgently, and at the same time he also began to contact the dean of the college. After all, whether it's for the students or other people in the secret realm, the matter involves a big demon, and they alone can't handle it. If jealous demon is allowed to recover from his injuries again, it will not be good news for everyone in the Dragon Kingdom. What's more, the closest place to here is S-City. Song Yukai had more on his mind at this time. You must know that this secret realm was discovered by the higher-ups of the college. Now that this situation has occurred, it is difficult to guarantee that this is not a trap. If so, a sharp look flashed in Song Yukai's eyes. After thinking for a few seconds, he determined the person he was looking for. As the news spread back, many people immediately started to take action and rushed towards this secret place. At this time, inside the secret realm, in that dark space, one of the figures suddenly said with some doubts, "Is Lord Jealous Demon's energy a little less?" He just saw what seemed to be a ray of energy that disappeared as it walked. Really? Did you see it wrong? Several other figures carefully looked at the energy on the core of the secret realm, and after confirming, they found nothing unusual. Master Jealous Demon's energy requires special equipment to be used by us. And not many people know about Lord Jealous Demon. As long as those humans in City S don't come over, there won't be any problems. The figure who felt something was wrong listened to the other figures and looked at the core of the secret realm hesitantly. The red energy has infected more than 90%. Maybe he was paranoid, he thought. Within the secret realm, I'm so sloppy. Are all these monsters crazy? In the little illusion, Weia was holding a wooden statue in his hand, and the black cloth was tied directly around his neck, like a cloak. And he was running like a baton racer, running wildly. Roar, ooh, scare. Several roars of monster beasts came from behind him. Upon hearing these sounds, Weijia's face twitched and his running speed increased again. How did these monsters find me? Weijia secretly cursed in his heart. He originally planned to leave after picking the spiritual plants in this illusion. But the red energy in the energy wall made him wary and he did not choose to pass through the energy wall. I just picked a location nearby and started practicing. Who would have thought that after he had been practicing for half an hour, an uninvited guest came to his place? Originally, he thought that because of the characteristics of the black cloth simulated environment, as long as he stayed still, he would not be discovered by the monsters. The result is obvious, he is now being chased by more than a dozen monsters. The effect of the black cloth seems to have no effect on these monsters. No wonder there were no negative reviews when I bought this. I'm afraid everyone who wants to leave negative reviews will die at the mouth of the monster. Weijia was furious in his heart and decided that if he could escape this crisis, he would definitely give the black cloth merchant a big bad review. Suddenly Weijia's pupils shrank, his running body braked quickly, plowing a mark on the ground, then turned 90 degrees and continued running. Directly in front of him, several jackals jumped out from behind the tree, joined the group of monsters, and began to chase Weijia. The eyes of these monsters. Weijia recalled the way he had just seen the jackal, its scarlet eyes and ferocious state, and then thought of the red energy in the energy wall. Suddenly I had a bad feeling. Looking at the border of the small fantasy world being gradually wrapped in red, Weijia gritted his teeth and thought of a location that was easy to defend but difficult to attack when touching the demon plant. Perhaps, There, he could escape. Weia identified the location, then took out a bottle of energy potion from the ring and poured it into his mouth. It can replenish a certain degree of mental and physical strength. Hurry up, hurry up. The changes in the secret realm were also discovered by more people. What energy is this? Old Wong. Go to hell. It was my sister-in-law who took the initiative. She has the right to enjoy better. The guy named Ma knows how to pay for it in just one day. Why should I pay back the money I borrowed based on my ability? You have so much money, why don't you spend it on me? Shalwa, why do you treat him better than me? Since you treat me like this, don't blame me. Amei, who is that man? Tell me. I tell you, don't think that I don't have imagination because I didn't see you naked lying on the bed, you know. Everyone in the secret realm began to experience various abnormalities after discovering the red energy. People who are more prepared watch people who are not well prepared gradually fall into madness. Some people began to curse, and some people felt resentful. Some people have begun to do evil, and some have fallen into ruin. There were clamoring, conflicts, and even people from the same team began to confront each other head-on. Jealousy arises in everyone's heart. He is more handsome than me, why? Destroy him. She is older than me, why? Ruined it, etc. Among the other 5 teams of Sushin Academy, the 5 people with illusion abilities looked a little pale at this time. As they explored the fantasy world, they all made good gains. Relying on the strength of the crowd, even if you encounter some monsters, you can quickly carve them up. When the red energy appeared, they had already noticed something was wrong. Those with keener perceptions set off alarm bells in their hearts. Even so, several of them were still affected by the red energy due to lack of preparation. That crazy and ferocious look directly scared the others. That's not all. There was even a teammate who was seriously injured by a monster because of his carelessness, but he suddenly violently injured others, and without any preparation, the one who was attacked died on the spot. Therefore, they speculated that as the red energy increases, there may be this energy in the air. After being inadvertently absorbed by them, if you add up to a small amount, you will also be in a state of being possessed. They defined this crazy look as possession. Then he quickly crowdfunded some spiritual objects and other props related to the energy of the illusion and gave them to the illusionists, so as to develop barriers that could protect them from being affected by the illusion. This is why the 5 illusion power users look pale. The consumption is still too high. And I don't know how long it will take. Quick, who still has energy potions? Hurry up. Stop hiding your secrets. Do you still want to live? Hey, what on earth is this red energy? Who knows? I hope Teacher Song can find out. Who would have thought that the amulet is useless? Several students looked at the broken stones in their hands and murmured in low voices. Many people were confused and panicked at this time. As time goes by, there are people fighting, bullying, or committing murders everywhere in the secret realm. Outside the Great Illusion, whirlpool-like ripples suddenly appeared in the void, expanding rapidly, and then a figure appeared from the whirlpool. The person who came out was none other than Zhao Fan. In the small illusion before, he discovered that after the energy wall was completely wrapped in red energy particles began to appear in the air. Obviously, this special red energy can diffuse in space. However, Zhao Fan determined that as long as he did not touch the red energy directly, these red particles alone would not pose any threat to him. In order to obtain more energy value, he directly used Kamui barriers to pass through the energy wall and harvest the spiritual creatures and monsters inside. I searched several small illusions in succession and obtained a lot of resources and energy points. He also replenished the mental energy consumed by using Mangekyo. They are the ones whose eyes are uncomfortable. During the exploration process, Zhao Fan also saw Weia who had been chased by monsters. The moment he saw Weia, Zhao Fan couldn't help but laugh. That scene was simply impossible to watch. If I had to sum it up in one sentence. One person and demon beast. RMVB. Zhao Fan didn't dare to continue looking at it. After making sure that there was nothing of value except the monster beast, he turned around and left. He saw that Weia seemed to be having a lot of fun, but he didn't want to disturb Weijia's enjoyment. That bit of monster, well, don't forget it. Ahem. Who made Weijia's hostility towards him too obvious? When Weia came behind him, Zhao Fan knew that there was something wrong with Wei Jia. He is different from Fang Ping and Shu Baoduo. Zhao Fan naturally wouldn't save him, he would just pretend he didn't see him and leave. Now that he has come out of the Great Illusion, Zhao Fan has no intention of looking for Fang Ping and Shu Baoduo again. Now the changes in the secret realm have made Zhao Fan wary. His current strength is not enough, so he naturally does not dare to take it lightly. Take this opportunity to collect energy points first. It's just that the connection between the space markers is a bit weak. Is there something blocking the space? Zhao Fan frowned, feeling the other space marks in Kamui space. When he selects Obito's Mangekyo ability, Kamui space will automatically record the location where he appeared. Zhao Fan didn't know if this was Obito's original ability or if it was given by the system. It is naturally a lot less troublesome for him. However, at this time, other marks in the Kamui space are in a flashing state, as if the signal is poor and the contact is poor. Marking is normal only in secret realms. Zhao Fan glanced around and saw that there was indeed a lot of red energy in the air. From Sharingan's perspective, the entire secret realm has been covered in red energy. Everything that comes into view is red. Someone must be trying to do something to this secret realm. Zhao Fan did not forget to feel the malicious sight in the little illusion. Although I didn't stare at him for long. But Zhao Fan always remembered it. Now that I think about it, the changes in the secret realm should have something to do with this person. But Zhao Fan didn't panic. Although the marks in Kamui's space are not in good contact, Zhao Fan can still open the channel as long as he increases consumption. Zhao Fan, who knew that he could escape unharmed, no longer had any worries. Zhao Fan was about to continue looking for a new Fantasyland. Jia, I didn't expect there to be an unaffected human being here. A voice suddenly appeared, and Zhao Fan quickly looked over. It takes at least a few soul elders to achieve this level of laughter. Hearing this arrogant laughter, Zhao Fan couldn't help but complain. His eyes looked at the sudden appearance of, well, shemale, monster. A huge gopher stood there like a man. The look in his eyes didn't look like a monster at all. People from the demon temple. Zhao Fan guessed in his heart. Looking at its feet again, it is breaking away from the ground. Zhao Fan suddenly understood. No wonder he hadn't discovered that this demon had been hiding underground. If anyone had a supercilious eye, he would have discovered it long ago. Zhao Fan was thinking this when he heard the gopher-like monster in front of him continue to speak. Human, it seems that it is your eyes that prevent you from being affected by Lord Jealous Demon's energy. I didn't expect you to come out of the illusion. Why don't you just stay in there and wait to die? It's your honor to be able to become chi and blood for Lord Jealous Demon to absorb. I'm telling you, even if you come out of the illusion, you will definitely die. The gopher demon also shook his head. He had a special hobby. That is, he likes to tell his prey that he is going to die, and then watching the other party struggle will give him a great sense of satisfaction. After speaking to Zhao Fan, he raised his head slightly, waiting for the panicked expression of the human in front of him. What a picture that is. Zhao Fan couldn't help but frown after hearing this. Jealous of the demon lord. Zhao Fan naturally grasped the key point in this demon's words. Lord Jealous Demon's energy is probably these red energies. This thought made Zhao Fan take a breath of cold air. Energy alone has such an effect. How strong must this jealous demon be? Zhao Fan has seen those affected monsters. Those were all gold-level monsters, and they all went crazy and attacked everything they saw. Destroy all creatures that can appear in their sight. Of course, after meeting Zhao Fan, it turned into energy points smoothly. I'm afraid other people are similar to monsters. Unless they have a way to resist the influence of these energies. Zhao Fan also keenly noticed that the demon said that his blood had been absorbed by Lord Jealous Demon. Chi and blood, absorption, these two words made Zhao Fan look ugly. Looking around, I can't see the boundary of the secret space. I don't know how many people have come to the secret space. Could it be that the demon temple planned to directly sacrifice the entire secret realm to collect some energy and blood for the jealous demon master? Aren't everyone in the demon temple human beings? How dare they? Zhao Fan suddenly felt resentful towards the demon temple for the first time. Just like in his previous life, he would become angry when he saw a piece of news that showed disregard for human life. Are you from the demon temple? Zhao Fan didn't notice the expression on the gopher demon's face. Even if he saw it, he couldn't tell anything about the gopher's face. Asked directly, Demon Temple, are you from the Demon Temple? The gopher demon was slightly startled when he heard Zhao Fan's words. If the human in front of him was a member of the Demon Temple, would he still kill him? Why, it seems that the humans who cooperate with the adults are the people of the Demon Temple, right? That's right, I asked why this human being can't be affected by the energy of Lord Jealousy. The gopher demon thought so in his heart and nodded unconsciously. Okay, if you are from the Demon Temple, you can leave. The gopher demon waved his hand towards Zhao Fan. Since this human being is cooperating with the adults, let's forget it this time. What a pity, I thought I could make some extra money. The gopher demon suddenly became disappointed. Seeing the gopher demon's inexplicable loss, even the malice he had always had disappeared. Zhao Fan also got the answer he wanted. The gophers in front of me are not from the Demon Temple, but the Demon Temple is related to their actions. I'm afraid it's a partner. As Zhao Fan's mind was spinning, he clapped his hands and stopped the gopher demon who was about to return to the ground. Hey, wait a minute. Human, what are you going to do? The gopher demon turned back to look at Zhao Fan with some doubts. Nothing, please eat daddy. A pair of bright scarlet eyes directly invaded the gopher demon's mental consciousness. Master Jealous Demon, I am seriously injured. Do you want to collect chi and blood to recuperate? Working with the Demon Temple, no wonder the Academy was able to discover this secret realm. It turns out that the core of the secret realm has been occupied by them. Zhao Fan kept searching for the memory of the gopher demon. Originally, he was just testing it, thinking that he would encounter the spider's superpower before, but it would have no effect. Now it seems that as long as you have normal consciousness, it will be fine. This is. As he watched more and more memories, the expression on Zhao Fan's face became increasingly ugly. Soon, he had almost read most of the memories. Zhao Fan rubbed his eyebrows, sighed, and looked at the gopher demon controlled by genjutsu in front of him. This thing turns out to be really human. Just because you yearn for the power of monsters, do you really want to stop being a human being? Zhao Fan already knew that this gopher demon was originally an ordinary superpower, with an F-level earth element talent that could be said to be mediocre. After being transformed by the Demon Temple, the experiment was very successful and it had the power of 2 demons. Not only does he have the strength of the gold level, but he can go wherever he wants like a fish in water wherever there is land. Enter the soil anytime and anywhere. Then, he became the subordinate of the jealous demon master. Monitor humans here and collect blood. Zhao Fan felt like his nose was twisted with anger, and he couldn't understand this idea at all. Just for the power of the monster, he became a monster and directly committed adultery. You keep talking about being human, but aren't you actually a human being? Do you really think of yourself as a monster? And because of that jealous demon, you want to sacrifice the entire secret realm with blood. This is so bad. Looking at the gopher demon trapped in genjutsu, Zhao Fan's eyes flashed with anger. In the memory of this gopher demon, it has eaten people more than once. Just like other monsters, can strengthen itself by devouring human flesh and energy. These memory scenes made Zhao Fan feel sick. Adults, children, and the elderly have all been eaten by this gopher monster in front of them. Relying on his ability to hide and move in the land, he has caused harm to many people. This can no longer be called a human being, and it is not an exaggeration to say it is a psychological abnormality. This is also the reason why Zhao Fan is getting more and more angry. At this time, the eyes of the gopher demon who had been trapped in genjutsu suddenly focused and escaped from genjutsu. After being in a daze for about a second, the gopher demon also reacted and immediately looked at Zhao Fan warily. What was that just now? Illusion. You actually used illusion on me. If you can't give me a reasonable explanation, even if you are a member of the Demon Temple, you won't be able to leave here. With that said, the pressure of the golden peak was released directly towards Zhao Fan, and he also showed his sharp teeth towards Zhao Fan. Unexpectedly, this human being had no reaction in the face of his strength. It just blinked, and the next moment it felt like someone was pinching its neck. How dare you lock my throat? Let me go. The gopher demon was grabbed by Zhao Fan's neck and lifted off the ground. The gopher demon was about to scratch Zhao Fan's arm frantically, trying to make Zhao Fan let go. However, before his claws landed on Zhao Fan, a cold and angry voice reached his ears. HMPH, you don't even want to be a human being, you want to be a beast. Tsukuyomi. The next moment, the gopher demon suddenly felt the changes in the surrounding environment. At this time, he was tied to the cross and unable to move. In my world, space, time, and quality are all under my control. How long can you hold on? Can the power of the monster save you? What does your desire bring you? This is punishment for the person you hurt. Be in pain and scream. When you ignore the lives of others, your life will also be controlled by me. The increasing number of Zhao Fan's figures were holding a long knife in the Tsukuyomi space, attacking the gopher demon. The gopher demon clearly felt that his flesh was being cut off piece by piece, and he watched countless humans cut themselves into skeletons. Then the next second, he returned to his original state and repeated the scene again. Over and over again, countless selves are suffering the same pain every second. But it doesn't know that no matter how long it takes, to the outside world, it is only a moment. Zhao Fan looked at the gopher demon in his hands who had a mental breakdown, and directly broke his neck with force. The resentment in my heart also eased a lot. What the hell? It's so annoying. Zhao Fan spit on the ground, then took out his knife and cut the gopher demon into pieces, and then stopped. Fortunately, the current gopher demon is not much different from the normal demon beast, and Zhao Fan does not feel much discomfort. However, the system prompts made Zhao Fan's eyes light up. This gopher demon actually gave him 40,000 energy points. If you get a few more, you don't have to worry about energy points. Zhao Fan has no psychological burden at all for such an inhuman beast. Zhao Fan rolled his eyes slightly. The memory of this gopher demon not only contained part of their plan, but also new information about other demons responsible for monitoring in the illusion. That's all, except for the gopher demons, there are 13 in total. Their strength is not much different from that of this gopher demon. If we kill all 13 of them, wouldn't that be another 500,000 energy points? Zhao Fan rubbed his eyes. He still felt a little uncomfortable after reading for a month, but he was happy that he got the entire map of this secret realm from the memory of this gopher demon. He can find those monitored illusions in the shortest possible time. Moreover, take care of these monsters and their adults. Zhao Fan thought in his heart, this master is not the jealous demon master, but the monsters and monsters who are responsible for this secret realm and occupy the core of the secret realm. This gave Zhao Fan a chance. After being able to escape unscathed, you can gain more energy points and make a lot of money. Therefore, Zhao Fan planned his next course of action based on the distance of his location. He wanted to gather millions of energy as much as possible first. Otherwise, his eyes would always be so uncomfortable, and his vision loss would have begun to affect his field of vision. Once he has eternal Mangekyo, even if there are any changes, he is not afraid anymore. After finalizing the plan, Zhao Fan took action directly. It seems that the plan is going well. I think in another hour, all those humans will be transformed into blood, and our mission will be completed. In the dark space, several figures surrounded the blood-red core of the secret realm. At this time, there was a blood-red crystal floating on the core of the secret realm. Wisps of red gas rose from the core of the secret realm and merged into the blood-colored crystal. Several figures around him looked at the blood crystal with greedy eyes. Obviously, this is the device they use to collect chi and blood, and chi and blood also have a strong attraction to them. Suck, it's so tempting to look at it. The energy and blood are so abundant. Shang-er, stop your saliva, it's all dripping on my feet. Master Jealous Demon's energy is really powerful. It can not only affect those humans and some ordinary monsters, but also stimulate their blood energy. As long as they die in the secret realm, the blood energy will be absorbed by the blood crystal. So convenient. I hope that Lord Jealous Demon can reward us with some energy after this mission. Although these figures were greedy for the energy and blood, they did not do anything. They know very well how terrifying the Jealous Demon is. But the humans outside seem to have discovered it. Humph, what can I do now that I have discovered that with the power of Master Jealous Demon and the treasure given to us, no one above the diamond level can enter the secret realm. Or they could destroy the secret realm directly from the outside. But if we do that, these humans will not survive either. One of the figures said nonchalantly, and the other figures nodded in agreement. Don't worry, unless someone can directly destroy the core of the secret realm will spontaneously protect the creatures that enter the secret realm and teleport away directly. But the core of the secret realm is under our protection, so this kind of thing is absolutely impossible. Several pairs of eyes have been staring at the core of the secret realm in front of them, not worrying at all about the discovery of outside humans. Looking at the core of the secret realm, there are more and more red dots, which are the lives affected by the power of their jealous master. It also represents a piece of chi and blood energy. At this time, there were more than a dozen people outside the secret realm at the entrance. Among them were Song Yukai, Lao Feng and Zhou Qinghan. They all stared at the figure at the front and waited. Lin Kongyan stood in front of the light curtain at the entrance of the secret realm with a majestic look, placing a finger on it. After feeling it for a while, he withdrew his hand and looked back at Song Yukai and the others. City Lord Lin, how are you doing? Song Yukai looked at Lin Kongyan expectantly, hoping that he and Lao Feng had made a mistake. It is indeed the energy of the jealous demon, and the space in the secret realm has been reinforced, so the Academy's amulet should have no effect. Lin Kongyan nodded and then shook his head. He could understand Song Yukai's thoughts, but this matter was indeed beyond their ability to handle. Everyone, surround this secret realm and look for other entrances or loopholes. Yes, City Lord. Everyone who came here consciously obeyed Lin Kongyan's order. Even Zhou Qinghan and the senior officials from the college had no objections. In fact, City Lord Lin was also a student of Sushin College and graduated from Sushin College. Nothing unusual here. The space is solid. No vulnerabilities have been found yet. After they inspected the secret realm from the outside, they gathered the information they obtained one by one. Lin Kongyan looked ugly. Although he had expected such a result, he was still reluctant when he actually faced it. With his strength, it is easy to break this secret realm, but there is no way to protect the people inside. He has tested it and wants to control the secret realm through his own power. But his energy was directly ejected. The core of the secret realm has been controlled. Lin Kongyan told everyone the news. For a moment, everyone looked ugly, and at the same time, there was suppressed anger in their hearts. They all know that when the core of the secret realm is controlled, there is no way to enter the secret realm. Owning the core of the secret realm is equivalent to obtaining the ownership of the secret realm. Just like the exclusive secret realm in the Academy, you control the secret realm through the core of the secret realm, and you can plan, lay out, and breed. Zhou Qinghan frowned at this time, with a gloomy look on his face. She did not expect that Zhao Fan would encounter such a thing during this trip to the secret realm. You might even die from it. I originally thought I could let Zhao Fan improve himself, but it ended up like this, trapped directly in the secret realm. This made her feel very guilty, knowing that Zhao Fan was their hope. Zhou Qinghan didn't know what to do for a while, and could only keep hoping that Zhao Fan would be safe and sound. In this case, everyone should pay attention to the changes in the secret realm. If you dare to set a trap here to harm people, they will definitely show up. The devices for detecting space fluctuations are ready to prevent them from teleporting away directly. I will find a way to weaken the jealous demon's energy. I can do whatever I can to weaken it. Lin Kongyan ordered, then returned to the light curtain at the entrance to the secret realm, took a deep breath, and put his hand on the light curtain. If he wants to weaken the power of the jealous demon, he can only wear it down bit by bit. Not only must he penetrate the space and reinforce it, but he must also ensure that the secret realm is not affected. At the same time, it can also wear away the power of the jealous demon, which is a very labor-intensive operation. Oh, do your best and obey fate. Thinking of the people trapped in the secret realm, City Lord Lin sighed, and at the same time, energy began to penetrate from his hands towards the light curtain. What's going on here? It was the same figure who felt something was wrong at first. This time he pointed directly at a place on the side of the secret realm and said, "There are no red dots there at this time, and there is no red energy." It was as if a piece of blank paper suddenly appeared on a red background with red dots, which was very eye-catching. What's going on? I don't know. Is it because there are no humans left there? How is that possible? Even if that is the case, Lord Jealous Demon will not lose his power. Several figures all looked at the blank space and said a few words, and then turned their attention to the figure who had not spoken much. Hey, Orochi, you are the most cautious among us, what do you think? Hi, if you don't worry, arrange for your men to go take a look. By the way, ask those monsters who have been monitoring if they have discovered anything. After all, it's for Lord Jealousy, so you can't be too cautious. The big snake figure who was called said very calmly. After hearing his words, the other figures had no objections and directly began to contact the subordinates who monitored human beings. Report to the boss, there is nothing unusual here. Report to the boss, all the humans here are going crazy. Report to the boss, the people here are still holding on, they may not be able to hold on anymore. After asking 12 questions in a row, there were no questions, and these figures became more relaxed. Then contact the next one. Quote. Not connected. Tried it again, still not connected. There is no connection. Could it be that something happened? This change immediately made all the figures become nervous, staring closely at the communicator in that figure's hand. White Crocodile, it seems that there is a problem on your side. Humph, I have already told you that your subordinates are unreliable. The figure named White Crocodile did not refute. After all, among all the people, his subordinate was the only one who did not reply. Naturally, he felt that his face was dull. Then he thought of something again and turned his head to look at the figure beside him. No, Mother Insect, why haven't you contacted your subordinate? HMPH, why should I contact you? It's not my fault what happened to you. Naturally, my little baby won't be like your subordinates. Hearing what the Mother Insect said, White Crocodile suddenly became unhappy and spoke. Don't be too happy too early. Maybe your subordinates will have no news like me. This is to ensure that the plan is normal. You should also contact your subordinates as soon as possible. The other figures also agreed with White Crocodile's words and all looked at the insect mother. Okay, I'll just contact you. I can be sure that my little baby will be very well behaved and will definitely not be like. The insect mother was a little reluctant, but she still took out the communicator to contact the little baby she sent out to monitor. However, before she could finish her words, the silent communicator suddenly made it impossible for her to continue speaking. Also not connected. How is that possible? My little darlings are all good children. Something must have happened. The insect mother lost her calmness just now and immediately felt that something had happened. When Crocodile saw this, he burst into laughter. Let me tell you. If the problem is not completely solved because of your lack of contact and our plan fails, let's see how you explain it to Lord Jealous Demon. The insect mother hesitated a few times and skipped the topic. I have sent people there to check, and the results should be available soon. Oh, by the way, have you sent someone for White Crocodile? It's not there yet, right? Or are you planning to go and see it yourself? That's right, Crocodile, your loyalty to Master Jealous Demon is obvious to all. You will definitely not allow any mistakes in the plan, right? The insect mother said calmly, as if she was really praising and approving the White Crocodile's loyalty. TCH, I sent someone a long time ago, and you still have to ask. White Crocodile naturally understood what the insect mother meant, but the current situation was not such that he would take action personally. After all, the highest level in the entire secret realm was gold level. Just ask his subordinates to check it first, and if the problem cannot be solved, he will go and check it himself. In this way, the other figures had no objection and once again focused their attention on the blood crystal. The energy overflowing from it made them feel ecstatic. What's more, as long as the core of the secret realm is fine and everything is under control, they will naturally not leave the core of the secret realm easily. The figure who first discovered the problem looked thoughtfully at the blank space in the secret realm and remained silent. Let's wait for information from the White Crocodile insect mother's men. I didn't expect that you can get energy points by burning it directly against the red energy. Chapter 71. Zhao Fan stood in a corner, and there was a large open space in front of him. There were many people gathering in the middle of the open space. At this time, they were all frightened as they looked at the black flames burning around them. Just now, some of these people who could barely hold on suddenly saw the entire illusion ignited with black flames. Followed by a crackling sound. Bang! The illusion is gone. Even the red energy is gone. Some people who had just been affected immediately woke up. Then these sane people directly held down the crazy people and hit the spiritual objects that eliminate mental abnormalities on their foreheads. During the whole process, they stayed away from the black flames. They saw with their own eyes that a strange-shaped insect that seemed to have been invisible was burned directly to ashes, without even a hair left. Although they don't know who did it, they are now out of danger. I was even more happy in my heart. At this time, Zhao Fan did not attract anyone's attention and looked at the system prompts excitedly. The demon responsible for surveillance here is an invisible insect, but his vision in Sharingan is as conspicuous as a light bulb. Originally, Zhao Fan couldn't see it because it had been hidden at the top of the illusion. But Zhao Fan had a sudden idea, and in order not to waste time, he directly started Amaterasu and burned up all the energy in the entire illusion. The moment the illusion energy wall disappeared, Zhao Fan saw the insect. After such a wave, Zhao Fanshi raised 140,000 energy points. So far, his energy points have reached more than 550,000. It was the pain in his eyes that made Zhao Fan grin. The side effects of using Amaterasu with ordinary Mangekyo are too great. Mangekyo should be able to be used normally after eternity. Zhao Fan thought in his heart. This time, the Amaterasu flame directly burned an illusion, which greatly consumed Zhao Fan's mental power. If he hadn't obtained those spiritual plants and spiritual objects, he might not be able to recover in a while. Moreover, Zhao Fan felt that his right eye was now almost 300 degrees myopic. You have to know that after using it several times before, it would look like 100 degrees of myopia at most. If you don't let go of any of the illusions and burn them all with Amaterasu, you will almost go blind. Zhao Fan speculated in his mind that this was based on his current physical strength. You must know that in the original work, Urzushi was basically blind after only 3 battles. Itachi didn't just use Amaterasu twice. He opened Mangekyo's eyes at the age of 11 and became blind at the age of 21. Moreover, Itachi's last battle can be said to have used Mangekyo and Susanoo many times, and he was also injured. With the negative effects of being critically ill, he could still retain the power of his eyes for the 2 pillars. It can be said that if Zhao Fan had not reached the gold level and his body had evolved to a certain extent, his current eyesight would have been even worse. After a while, Zhao Fan felt that his mental power had been restored, and it had increased a lot because of the use of spiritual plants. Continue. Zhao Fan glanced at the crowd who were still controlling his teammates and whispered. Before he finished speaking, Zhao Fan was no longer around in this corner. Boss. Big news. The illusion is gone. The big illusion is gone. Boss. There is nothing wrong with the illusion. It's just that the gopher is dead. He was cut into pieces. Lao Shang, cough cough. The voice of his men came from the communicator. The white crocodile didn't care about the talkativeness of his men. After all, in their eyes, dead things are food. Moreover, if he remembered correctly, that gopher seemed to be a demon who came from the demon temple many years ago. It was only in recent years that he succeeded in possessing a monster body. If you die, you will die. As long as everything is fine in the illusion, just continue to monitor it there. The white crocodile turned off the contact device directly after saying this, and at the same time looked at the insect mother with gloating. Sensing the look in white crocodile's eyes, the insect mother was filled with anger. She resisted the urge to get angry and spoke to the communicator. Why is the illusion gone? Where are the humans? The illusion was burned away like a black flame. Those humans are now awake, because there is no longer the energy of Lord Jealous Demon here. What should I do, boss? When the insect mother heard this, she was shocked. What kind of flame could directly burn away all the energy of Lord Jealous Demon? What a joke. Even if the energy intensity given by Lord Jealous Demon does not exceed the upper limit of the secret realm, it is still the power of the Xingyu level. This will not happen even if the quantity is too small and the quality is reduced. Logically speaking, there should not be humans with such abilities in the secret realm. The insect mother couldn't make up her mind for a moment and simply raised her head to look at the other figures. After all, things have happened, and it is a fact that Lord Jealous Demon's energy is directly lacking. What do you say? After hearing the news that Lord Jealous Demon's energy had been burned away, the eyes of other figures also withdrew their eyes from the blood crystal. It is related to the energy of Master Jealous Demon, and also related to their mission of collecting chi and blood. In this case, the surviving humans cannot ignore it or drag them into my fantasy world. Yes, it's best to let these human beings be infected with the energy of Lord Jealousy. Only in this way will the energy and blood energy be sufficient. And we need to figure out that black flame. Is it the abilities of those humans or other reasons? These figures all talked about this matter. The insect mother nodded in agreement. She did not ask who would handle these things, although she was somewhat reluctant. After all, there was a problem with the illusion she was responsible for, and she was the one to deal with it. You must know that there is competition between them. Based on the problem of the insect mother this time, I am afraid that the rewards will be less in the future. In her heart, the insect mother was even more angry at the person who released the black flame and destroyed her illusion. It's best not to let her catch her, otherwise it will definitely make that person's life worse than death. The insect mother thought in her heart, and at the same time she stood up and said, "In this case, I will go and see for myself, and by the way, I will lead those humans to another illusion." After the other figures made their decision, they once again enjoyed the energy from the overflowing chi and blood, and even the white crocodile didn't even bother to sarcastically mock the insect mother. The insect mother left here with anger. She wanted to solve this problem as soon as possible and then come back as soon as possible. Just a few minutes after the insect mother left. Wait, it's here again. It turned out that the aura of the figure who felt something was wrong became very restless, and there was surprise in his tone. The other figures who were interrupted again were even more impatient. Blood mosquito, why are you always so startled? The mother bugs are all taken care of, so what are you afraid of? Blood mosquito pointed directly at the core of the secret realm. Another piece is missing. All the figures looked towards the core of the secret realm. There was originally only a blank core of the secret realm, but now there was another blank space. It was as if someone had erased the red paint again. It showed up again. How long has it been since? Looking in this direction, you should be following the direction of the illusion. Contact the insect mother and leave those humans alone. Go and resolve this matter first. Otherwise, without the illusion barriers to rely on, Lord Jealous Demon's energy won't be able to work. Are we saved? The red energy is gone. Hurry up and hold Lao Wong down. I said it was my sister-in-law who took the initiative. It has nothing to do with me. A group of people felt like they were in another world in the ruins of the illusion, watching in bewilderment as the black flames burned the illusion away. Then those who woke up were very happy. Zhao Fan was still lying in a place where no one could see him, and he was covering his right eye and grinning. The painful side effects caused by continuous use of Amaterasu were somewhat beyond Zhao Fan's expectations. Now his right eye felt like a needle pricking him. The pain was even more intense than before. Axie, it really hurts. The right side of Zhao Fan's face was covered with blood flowing from his eyes. At the same time, he was holding a piece of spiritual plant wood essence in his mouth that had a restorative effect on the spirit. Zhao Fan endured the pain and cursed secretly. This time he succeeded in burning the illusion again, as well as a toad demon. Successfully harvested 160,000 energy points, which was 20,000 more than the illusion just now. It gave Zhao Fan some comfort. If you calculate it this way, he only needs to get another 290,000 to directly own the eternal Mangekyo. With this in mind, Zhao Fan stayed here for half an hour before recovering. The degree of myopia of the eyes increases again. It's just pain, the energy points are the big one. Zhao Fan encouraged himself in his heart. His vision in his left eye was still normal, but the world he saw in his right eye had become blurry. Of course, it doesn't matter. Zhao Fan once again went to the next illusion as planned. However, Zhao Fan also had a guess in his heart that the movements here should have been discovered by those adults with monsters and monsters. Maybe you will meet him soon. A battle will inevitably come then. Zhao Fan naturally had to speed up a bit. Otherwise, with a pair of myopic eyes, it would be a bit unaccustomed to it. The jealous demon's energy has decreased. It seems like this approach could work. Lin Kongyan sensed the energy of the jealous demon through the energy that penetrated into the light curtain of the secret realm. He noticed some slight changes in the energy of the jealous demon, losing just a little bit. He felt a little relieved. His strength was one level lower than that of the jealous demon. Fortunately, it was just some of the jealous demon's energy. Normally, he could still use it up quickly. But separated by a secret realm, Lin Kongyan also felt a little difficult without damaging the secret realm. The main reason is that it requires detailed control for a long time, which is quite tiring. Fortunately, there was a change in the energy of the jealous demon, which made Lin Kongyan feel better. Just when Lin Kongyan and other high-level officials were in this secret realm. In a room in S City, one person was reporting to another middle-aged man. Sir, it has been confirmed that the city lord and some senior officials from the Theological Academy have gone to the secret realm. Do you want it? The middle-aged man hummed and spoke directly. Well, just in time, let's follow the plan. Yes. After hearing this, the man immediately nodded and left. He had to arrange everything before the city lord and others came back. The middle-aged man in the room was sitting on a chair, leaning against the back of the chair. Lin Kongyan, I'm afraid you didn't expect me to be hiding in the city you manage. If City S is destroyed in your hands, how will you face them? As if thinking of the scene at that time, the middle-aged man suddenly laughed. Ha ha ha, I'm really looking forward to it. Squeak. Another illusion was destroyed. The insect mother was moving quickly at this time, but halfway, she received news from other monsters. When I heard that there was another blank space in the core of the secret realm, I suddenly became furious. I also heard that the demons used the excuse that she had come out and left all these matters to her. She was not responsible for the destruction this time. Why? The insect mother was angry and rushed directly towards the third illusion without looking for the rescued humans first. The third illusion was inferred by them, and it was also the illusion closest to the two blank spaces. Maybe she can solve the problem directly here. I want to see who can destroy two illusions in such a short time. Although the insect mother was angry, she was more cautious by nature, so she planned to observe the place first. Then decide whether to take action, how to take action, etc. Thinking like this, the insect mother speeded up a little again. Brother Jong, I didn't expect such a sudden change. I'm afraid I won't be able to help you find that boy anymore. At this time, in the fantasy barriers in the fantasy world, more than a dozen people were gathering together honestly. One of them is Wong Jong, who is sitting there practicing. And a person next to him said with some regret. Hearing the voice, Wong Jong opened his eyes and glanced at the person who spoke, with a flash of disdain in his eyes. Yes, there is no other way now, we can only do this. He naturally knew what the other party meant. According to the original plan, Wong Jong planned to use the opponent's detection ability to find Zhao Fan's location and capture Zhao Fan. He promised the other party that as long as he found Zhao Fan, he would get the spiritual plant that the other party needed most. Now the other party said this just because he couldn't get the spiritual plant. It's just that compared with the search for Zhao Fan and the spiritual plants and animals in the secret realm, Zhao Fan is naturally ranked behind. So Wong Jong has been following the team and also obtained a lot of good things. Therefore, there was no rush to act. Who would have thought that such a change would suddenly occur in the secret realm? At the beginning, even Wong Jong felt that he suddenly disliked everyone and wanted to kill them. Fortunately, he had a spiritual object given to him by his family and had good resistance to illusions, so Wong Jungkai was not affected too much. Otherwise, Wong Jong glanced behind him and saw that some of the possessed people were directly suppressed by several people, and there were even several spiritual objects that could clear negative states hung on their bodies. The corner of his mouth twitched slightly, and then he looked at the illusionist who had been maintaining the illusion barriers. Also their captain. At this time, many people were surrounding him to inquire about his welfare, and a trace of jealousy flashed in Wong Jong's eyes. You must know that when he was in the academy, it was basically him, Wong Jong, who was surrounded by people asking for help. But here and now, everyone knows him, but they all surround the captain. A feeling of destruction could not help but arise in my heart. Fortunately, the energy from the spiritual object in his arms refreshed his mind, and when he looked again, the bloodthirsty feeling was gone in his heart. Wong Jong exhaled and frowned. Unexpectedly, he was affected again just now. It seems that the captain's illusion barriers can no longer resist the red energy. Wong Jong stood up directly from the ground, immediately attracting the attention of others. Wong Jong, what's wrong? The person who spoke was a girl, with admiration in her eyes. Obviously she has always liked Wong Jong silently. After seeing Wong Jong stand up suddenly, he immediately expressed concern. Nothing. Look up there. Wong Jong had just said the word, nothing, when he heard someone shouting and subconsciously looked up. The pupils shrank suddenly. What is that? Black flames appeared in the sky above the entire illusion. What is this? Ah, no. A shrill and painful howl suddenly sounded, immediately startling Wong Jong and others. He quickly looked around and saw a lizard struggling in the black flames. That's a gold-level chameleon. What kind of flame is this? A group of people's eyes widened. As soon as they recognized the name of this monster, they saw that there were only black flames left there, and the original lizard had made no sound. Hiss. Everyone took a breath of air and quickly gathered into a pile, staring at the black flames above. I was afraid that I would be burned by the flames accidentally. Even the gold-level lizards couldn't last more than a few seconds, and they didn't want to end up like that. Wong Jong's eyes were filled with shock, and at the same time he also had a desire for black flames. If only he could have such a flame. Hey, don't you have fire powers? When will you reach this level? One of them asked his teammates. The man shook his head wildly and said angrily. Are you kidding me? The flames that can directly burn down the illusion may not be possible even if I reach the diamond. Ah, you mean the star level? It's not certain whether I can be promoted to the star level. I can't even reach the gold level 3 now. Under everyone's gaze, the black flames burned away all the energy walls in the illusion. Just when they thought the black flames would burn them because they had nothing to burn. Most of the black flames disappeared automatically, leaving only some black flames there. Are we saved? After a moment of silence, everyone suddenly cheered. Their captain was even more thankful that he could no longer maintain barriers, and lay on the ground recovering with an exhausted and pale face. Wong Jong was also overjoyed at this time, looking at the black flames with greedy eyes. When he was about to get closer to take a look at the black flames, the person who was tracking and detecting supernatural powers suddenly stopped him. Hey, Brother Jong, Brother Jong. What? Wong Jong looked at the other person curiously, wondering why this guy suddenly became excited again. Brother Jong, that boy is nearby. Originally, it was because of the illusion energy wall that it blocked my powers. But now the energy wall is gone. Brother Jong, should we go find that kid? This man looked at Wong Jong eagerly. After all, this was related to the spiritual plant he needed most, which would greatly improve his strength. Before gathering and setting off, he listened to Wong Jong's wishes and made a mark for the boy. Something happened in the secret realm. He thought there was no hope and was still thinking about how to get the spiritual plant from Wong Jong. But after the black flame burned away the energy wall, the mark actually appeared in his perception. Naturally he became excited. Oh, Zhao Fan is actually nearby. Wong Jong's eyes lit up and he asked quickly. Which direction? Lead the way. Now that the crisis is gone, and looking at the exhausted look of their captain, it is obvious that there is no way to continue to break the illusion. It would be better to capture Zhao Fan first. Wong was thinking this, but when he was about to set off, he found that the man didn't move, and he frowned. Then he reacted and said with a smile. Don't worry, I won't forget what I promised you. If you find that boy, I will give it to you. This man smiled like a flower after hearing this. He was waiting for Wong Jong's words. Brother Jong, it's not far away, let's go here, slow down, be careful of the black fire. While this man was trying to please Wong Jong, he quickly led him to sense the location of the mark. Others didn't say anything about it. After all, it's normal for people to be restless. And because they had been trapped for a while, their strength was well preserved, so they naturally dared to go out and try. However, as soon as Wong and Jung walked out of the scope of the original illusion, their expressions changed. A trace of jealousy slowly emerged from their hearts. Fortunately, the intensity is not as strong as in the illusion. With the help of spiritual objects, the two of them can endure it. Brother Jung, doesn't it mean that this black flame is here to save us? The man looked back at the black fire they had just passed and said with some uncertainty. It seems so. Wong Jong nodded, envious and eager. Forget it, go find that kid quickly, don't let him escape again. Impossible. Brother Jung, the mark on his body is very clear to my perception, and he can never escape. With that said, the man continued to lead Wong Jong outside. Soon, in about 5 minutes, they saw a big tree with lush leaves and crisscrossing branches. Are you sure the mark is here? Wong Jong looked at the big tree in front of him, widening his eyes to see if there was Zhao Fan on the tree. However, after looking for a long time, he didn't see anyone, so he immediately looked at that person. That's a must. The man patted his chest, and then whispered to Wong Jong. Brother Jong, why don't we sneak over and give that boy a scare, just in case, be careful of any illusions or other traps here. Wong Jong naturally agreed after hearing this. He was also afraid that Zhao Fan would escape due to negligence. The two of them immediately became light-footed and slowly and sneakily approached the big tree. At this time, Zhao Fan was clenching his teeth, his neck veins were exposed, and his right eye was tightly closed. He didn't bother to clean up the blood on his face, and kept breathing heavily from his mouth and nose. This time the pain from the side effects of Amaterasu was even more intense. According to Zhao Fan's understanding, his Sharingan is now in a state of overheating and overload. Especially after using Amaterasu continuously, the load on his right eye has almost reached its limit. Ha, ha, Zhao Fan gasped, wondering if there were other ways to destroy the illusion. He still overestimated himself, and he used Amaterasu 4 times in a row in half a day. It can be said that the skill Amaterasu is now unusable. Unless he can ascend to the eternal Mangekyo, Amaterasu has no chance of using it again, and he will have to wait until tomorrow at least to use it again. That is to say, the energy points increased by 120,000 again, which comforted Zhao Fan. At this time, Zhao Fan's ears twitched and he endured the pain and looked in the direction of the sound with his left eye. He thought he heard someone coming. Who is it? The 3 Magatama appeared again in the still healthy left eye, quickly catching the energy reaction. Wong Jong. Zhao Fan hid in the tree, and through the gaps in the leaves he could clearly see Wong and Jung who were moving lightly below. Frowning, he was curious why Wong Jong came here. You know, there is nothing here. Unless, there was another severe pain in his right eye. Zhao Fan held his forehead with 4 fingers and rubbed his temple vigorously with his thumb. It's a pity that Itachi and Obito don't even have a healing ninjutsu, really. He complained in his mind and kept observing the movements of Wong Jong and the two. Wong Jong and the other 2 reached under the big tree and saw the man next to them tugging on Wong Jong's clothes and making the above gestures. Wong Jong immediately raised his head and looked up. In this position, the leaves do not block the view much. So Wong Jong saw Zhao Fan standing on the tree trunk at a glance, and his eyes suddenly lit up. Ha ha ha, Zhao Fan, I found you. After Wong Jong saw Zhao Fan, he spoke directly. The other person took a closer look at Zhao Fan's appearance and immediately said to Wong Jong. Brother Jong, we came just in time. It looks like this kid is injured. Look at the blood on his face, I'm afraid it's serious. Only then did Wong Jong notice that there was blood on the back of Zhao Fan's palm covering his right eye. He felt happy, wouldn't this save him a lot of trouble? Zhao Fan, if you don't want your injuries to worsen or even die from this, come down. Eat this thing. Wong Jong said arrogantly, and at the same time, a black fruit appeared in his hand. This is a poisonous fruit, and only specific spiritual plants can remove the poisonous fruit. It can be said to be a kind of artificially synthesized demon plant. And the specific spiritual plant is naturally only owned by his Wong family. Normally, even if Wong was Wong Tang's second son, he could not apply to use this kind of poisonous fruit. This was what his father suddenly sent him before he entered the secret realm, along with Wong Tang's arrangements. Junger, I have sent someone to bring your cousin back. As for Zhao Fan, you should find an opportunity to let him eat this poisonous fruit. This way he can be controlled by us. Quote, remember, Zhao Fan cannot die. I know you want to kill him, but I have other arrangements. Wong was thinking about Wong Tang's words, and the poisonous fruit was flying up and down in his hands, waiting for Zhao Fan to come down. He didn't believe that Zhao Fan dared to resist him now that he was injured. Although he didn't know why Wong Tang didn't let him kill Zhao Fan, he just had to obey and do it. By the way, you can also learn the method of walking on water and the secret of Zhao Fan quickly rising to the silver level. If the gold level can also be used, he will be prosperous. Moreover, Zhao Fan was probably injured by encountering a special spiritual plant and being injured by the guardian monster. This is another gain. Wong Jong had already imagined that after accepting Zhao Fan, he would not only gain abilities but also spiritual plants and other items. There are more smiles on the face. His eyes were fixed on the expression on Zhao Fan's face, wanting to see if Zhao Fan would be furious at this time. However, Zhao Fan neither spoke nor got down from the tree, but looked to the other side. The smile on Wong Jong's face suddenly froze. He glanced at the person who had been watching beside him and felt that he was losing face. Zhao Fan ignored him again. Zhao Fan, you are so shameless. Since Brother Jong. Before Wong Jong could finish his harsh words, the man next to him began to tremble in his voice, and he grabbed Wong Jong's arm tightly, as if he was frightened. What the hell? Bao Longtao, do you want to go to heaven? The interrupted Wong Jong looked at Bao Longtao fiercely. If he couldn't tell me something, Wong Jong would definitely let Bao Longtao know what a fist as big as a sandbag is. Brother Jong, monsters. No, monsters. There are monsters all around. Bao Longtao looked panicked, his voice was trembling as he spoke, and his eyes were full of fear. Within the scope of his exploration, it can be said that dense energy reactions suddenly appeared in an instant. It directly made him with trypophobia feel cold on his back and numb on his scalp. Monster. Wong Jong was shocked when he heard this. He knew that the demonic insects had always acted in groups. He had encountered the demonic insects once before. That was what I saw from a distance. A group of monster insects faced off against a golden team. After only half an hour, only a skeleton of that team was left. Thinking of this, Wong Jong stopped caring about Zhao Fan and grabbed Bao Longtao's collar. Why didn't you tell me earlier that there was a monster insect? Run. With that said, they ran in the direction they came from. Those black flames might be able to help them avoid being attacked by the monster insects. If it doesn't work, there should be a lot of people there. As the saying goes, a dead Taoist friend is not a poor Taoist. Wong Jong felt that he just needed to run faster than those people. As for why Bao Longtao was not left behind, it was naturally because only Bao Longtao could point him in the direction. Another thing, even if Bao Longtao is left behind and Zhao Fan is added, the demonic insect cannot be stopped for long. Brother Jong, give up, you can't escape. At this time, Bao Longtao looked helpless, and suddenly lost his energy. Monsters, there are monsters all around, there is no way out. Wong Jong's pupils shrank suddenly, and the expression on his face became ferocious. How is that possible? Tell me, do you want to harm me? I know, you are with that Zhao Fan, right? You framed me on purpose. With that said, he pushed Bao Longtao away and accelerated towards the outside again. However, after more than 10 seconds, Wong Jong was seen running back crazily. That speed was a little faster than the speed he ran out just now. Wong Jong's face was pale and his eyes looked frightened. At the same time, subtle sounds of devouring and biting appeared. Zhao Fan stood at a high place and could see the trees not far away falling down one by one. But during the whole process, there was no other sound except for a slight crackling sound. It's like an invisible barrier's constantly shrinking and swallowing inside. Soon, as there are fewer and fewer trees around, the view becomes wider and wider. Monster insects with sharp-toothed mouthparts, like a combination of cockroaches and ants, covered the entire ground. All obstacles encountered, whether they were trees or rocks, were completely shattered by these monster insects in a few seconds. Wong Jong originally wanted to climb up the tree, but the tree was directly eaten by the monster insects that swept over. He was so frightened that he retreated to Bao Longtao. At the same time, he directly took out a large piece of metal, and then controlled it to change into a fan, trying to blow away these monster insects. Go away. Stay away from me. Wong Jong used his mental power vigorously, urging the metal fan to rotate rapidly. He knows that as long as you kill a group of monster insects, you will be targeted by a group of monster insects. He saw the team that was wiped out before because someone randomly killed a monster insect and was found by a group of monster insects. As for why Wong Jong didn't fly away directly, it was because he couldn't do it. Even if the golden level can float, it can't last long. After all, this is floating, not flying, and the speed is about the same as walking normally. If you want to use supernatural powers to offset your own gravity and reach more than 3 meters, the cost will be doubled. So Wong Jong didn't even think about this idea. Bao Longtao gave up resistance directly because there was a particularly strong energy reaction in his perception. It is definitely not comparable to the ordinary golden peak. It's you, a human being, who destroyed the illusion with that black flame. A chirping sound mixed with anger came from behind the swarm of monster insects directly in front of Zhao Fan. At the same time, many demonic insects quickly moved to both sides, leaving a passage for the owner of the voice to come out. Wong Jong and Bao Longtao were shocked when they heard this voice. Black flame. Was that black flame really released by someone? Doesn't that mean that the person who released the black flame is also here? Can they be saved? Wong Jong and Bao Longtao, who were originally despairing, suddenly felt hope rise in their hearts. He quickly stretched his neck to look for anyone else around him. However, after looking around, except for the tree where Zhao Fan was standing alone, surrounded by a group of monster insects, there was no hiding place around. The expressions of Wong Jong and Bao Longtao suddenly changed. They were not fools. The answer had already appeared in their hearts. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. No matter how much he didn't want to believe it, there were only 3 of him, Bao Longtao and Zhao Fan at the scene. Wong Jong knew that Bao Longtao had no such ability. Therefore, there is only one truth. That is the black flame released by Zhao Fan. But Wong Jong, who has always been conceited, was completely unwilling to accept such a result. He would rather believe that the person using the black flame is not here than believe that this is Zhao Fan's ability. But seeing countless bugs just surrounding the tree where Zhao Fan was without attacking, it was completely opposite to the situation on his side. It was obviously the mother bug controlling them. This forced Wong Jong to accept this fact. Seeing the metal fan he controlled blowing away the monster insects that were surrounding him, Wong Jong gritted his teeth after struggling for a while. He raised his head and shouted to Zhao Fan. Zhao Fan, I'm sorry. I was wrong. It's my fault. Please save me. As long as you save me, I will forget about the past. After Wong Jong finished saying these words, he couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. In his opinion, Zhao Fan should be grateful that he could say such a thing. After all, he had put the past behind him. Moreover, as the second young master of the Wong family, saving him is definitely a very cost-effective thing. Wong Jong did not see that Bao Longtao looked at him as if he was a mentally retarded person. You want others to save you, but you still can't let go of your arrogance and let things go by the way. Are you stupid? Bao Longtao cursed Wong Jong crazily in his heart. Why didn't he realize that Wong Jong was so brainless before? He doesn't have much ill will towards Zhao Fan. At most, he uses Wong Jong's money to do things, so if he begs for mercy, Zhao Fan should be able to save him, right? But before he could speak, he saw a particularly disgusting-looking insect crawling out of the monster insect. Countless Geo were dancing. Their huge bellies were like the head of a centipede and an ant combined. He climbed to the big tree where Zhao Fan was standing and stood up directly. There are human-like faces and arms on the abdomen of the entire torso. At this time, the man looked at Zhao Fan with an angry and bloodthirsty expression on his face. Bao Longtao rolled his eyes immediately after looking at this and fainted. At this time, Wong Jong also felt that his hair was standing on end and he was in a trance. Then the metal fan he originally controlled also slowed down. Broken. Wong Jong reacted immediately and was about to use his superpower again to spin the metal fan. However, the moment he was in a trance, these monster insects quickly climbed onto his metal fan. Before even 2 revolutions, it was eaten to pieces and could no longer maintain the appearance of a fan. No, you can't eat me. Zhao Fan, save me quickly. Otherwise, our Wong family will never spare you. Wong Jong hurriedly used the remaining metal and the metal he had condensed to turn it into a stick, and kept beating the monster insects flying towards him. He used his peripheral vision to see Bao Longtao, who had fainted, being eaten completely by the demonic insects without saying a word. He was so frightened that the metal stick danced out like an afterimage. However, the consequence of this was that Wong Jong quickly ran out of energy. After all, these monster insects also have the strength of the gold level. Although they are in the early stage, Wong Jong has only just reached the middle stage of the 4th stage of gold. It couldn't last long under the siege of monster insects. Soon, a monster insect found an opportunity for Wong Jong, passed through the shadow of the metal stick, and bit Wong Jong's ankle fiercely. With a click, Wong Jong's ankle was torn apart like a chocolate bar by the swing of the demonic insect. Ah! Wong Jong screamed, the metal stick could no longer move, and his body fell to one side. Immediately afterwards, all the demonic insects around him pounced on Wong Jong. In an instant, he felt the sharp pain of being bitten and devoured all over his body. In Wong Jong's last consciousness, he finally heard Zhao Fan's disgusted voice. "You look so disgusting." Wong Jong's still intact eyes revealed a hint of confusion. "He actually keeps ignoring me." With this thought, Wong Jong lost consciousness in severe pain. Zhao Fan didn't pay much attention to what happened to Wong Jong. In his opinion, Wong Jong came to trouble him in the first place, and his death was just the right thing to do. The important thing is that Zhao Fan has no intention of seeing Wong Jong's fate because of the extremely ugly insect mother in front of him. Although Zhao Fan had long noticed the strong energy reaction, Sharingan couldn't see through it, so he didn't know what the coming monster looked like. Zhao Fan didn't confirm it until the insect mother appeared. But this does not affect Zhao Fan's dislike of the insect mother's appearance, which is too disgusting. Zhao Fan couldn't bear it. Now the side effects in his right eye have not subsided. It's just that the severe pain just now turned into labor pains. At this time, Zhao Fan was still not panicking. The arrival of the insect mother had been expected by him. After all, according to his speculation, the monster would definitely be able to find it. HMPH, how can human aesthetics understand my beauty? The insect mother snorted coldly. Although she wanted to kill Zhao Fan immediately, she also wanted to know how Zhao Fan did it. A gold-level human could actually have such ability. She didn't even dare to touch the black flame. The mother insect thought back to what she had just seen with her own eyes. The moment the black flame appeared, she felt bad all over. It was like meeting a natural enemy. "Human, how on earth did you do that? Is it because of your eyes?" The mother of insects drank at Zhao Fan. Based on Zhao Fan's reaction just now, she already knew that the black flame was related to Zhao Fan's right eye. And it seems to have strong side effects. This discovery is the reason why the insect mother dares to appear. The insect mother concluded that Zhao Fan would not be able to use the black flame again in a short time. In this case, she had nothing to worry about. Moreover, as a bug, her natural ability is to devour and evolve. As long as she is sure that the black flames are indeed coming from this human's eyes. Want to know? Zhao Fan chuckled lightly. Since the insect mother was not prepared to take action, he would be happy to cooperate. Feeling the gradually recovering power of his right eye and the bursts of pain, Zhao Fan twitched the corners of his mouth and then spoke. "That way, I can tell you how I did it, and you can do it too. But before that, please answer me a question." As soon as she heard Zhao Fan say that she could do it, the insect mother was overjoyed. The human in front of her was so cooperative. It was obvious that he was at the end of his tether. "I'm afraid I'm trying to delay time in order to survive." The antennae on the insect mother's head moved slightly, and her voice also sounded at the same time. "Human, since you are so cooperative, I can satisfy you. Tell me." Zhao Fan stared at the human face on the abdomen of the insect mother with his left eye and said, "I want to know, where is the core of the secret realm?" After hearing this, the insect mother opened her mouth to answer. "The core of the secret realm is located." "Huh, how dare you control me? Human, you are really looking for death." As soon as the insect mother said a few words, she suddenly woke up from Sharingan's control. The angry insect mother's voice carried the sound of insects and Kamui, a spirit far beyond the gold level, pressed on Zhao Fan's body. Alas, Genjutsu was defeated so quickly. Zhao Fan sighed and felt the Kamui pressure on his body. With his physical condition, he would naturally not feel uncomfortable. It's just that if he changed to another gold level, he would probably lie on the ground directly. Zhao Fan also confirmed his guess. These things happened in the secret realm, and the subordinates of the jealous monster were all monsters who had reached the diamond level on one side. Because it is not the same as a superpower, any superpower needs to meet the standards in all aspects before he can be promoted to the diamond level. However, monsters can be promoted to diamond level in one item. In fact, this is also related to the talent of monsters. This type of monster is essentially a gold level monster, but because it excels in one or even multiple items, it is naturally much stronger than an ordinary gold level monster. Speaking of which, he himself has improved a lot with the help of the system, and his body has grown in all directions without the bottleneck of ordinary superpowers. The mother insect in front of her was obviously a demonic beast with a diamond level spiritual power. Human, go to hell. The insect mother didn't care what Zhao Fan was thinking. She originally wanted to give Zhao Fan a chance, but she didn't expect that she would be controlled. Even if the time is short, she reacts quickly, but as a monster insect, any human who can control them will be destroyed immediately. They absolutely do not allow humans to control them. The insect mother hissed, and the sound wave carried strong mental fluctuations. When Zhao Fan first heard it, he felt as if his brain had been hit by a heavy hammer. He was dizzy and had stars in his eyes. Why the hell is this bug capable of sonic attacks? Zhao Fan's mental purity has always been far higher than the same level due to Sharingan, which is why he was not affected by the mental attacks and pressure of Wong Jong and Wong Dan. But this time, Zhao Fan suffered a mental loss. If the insect mother simply attacks with mental power, Zhao Fan can still avoid it through Sharingan insight and prediction. After all energy reactions can be captured by Sharingan. Who would have thought that this insect mother would directly attack Zhao Fan with her mental power through her screams? This made it impossible for Zhao Fan to avoid even if he saw it. For a moment, Zhao Fan quickly covered his ears with his hands. Fortunately, with his mental control, he quickly escaped from the influence of the mother insect's cry. Ahem, didn't you eat? Zhao Fan crushed to death a demonic insect that quietly climbed up the tree and wanted to attack him. He looked at the insect mother and shouted, "Human, I will let you know the consequences of angering me." Although he was surprised that the human in front of him could escape the influence of her fearful screams so quickly. The insect mother still has a strong murderous intention towards Zhao Fan. She no longer thought about Zhao Fan's black flames. In an instant, countless Geogeo immediately stretched and stabbed at Zhao Fan. At the same time, the big tree under Zhao Fan also quickly became shorter. It turned out that the monster insects below directly ate the big tree. Facing the attack of the insect mother, Zhao Fan opened his right eye slightly, revealing the 3 Magatama Sharingan inside, and kicked hard with his foot. The half of the tree trunk accelerated directly to the ground, making a loud explosion, and then turned into pieces and scattered in all directions. The exploded wood fragments even passed through the vulnerable positions of many demonic insects. Many demonic insects died at once. At this time, Zhao Fan also used the reaction force to jump towards the insect mother. Zhao Fan did not make any defensive moves against the attacks of the Geogeo. What? The bloodthirsty and ferocious eyes of the insect mother gradually became dull, and she watched helplessly as her Geogeo passed directly through Zhao Fan's body, as if it had poked the air. Zhao Fan just came to the front of the insect mother, grinned at the dull insect mother, stretched out his right hand and patted the insect mother's torso. Humans. The insect mother hissed again, and the human face on her abdomen spat out a mouthful of green mucus towards Zhao Fan, which looked very poisonous at first glance. However, the mucus passed directly through Zhao Fan's face, came out from the back of his head and continued to fly out. Wood style. The art of cutting. Suddenly, a wooden spear appeared in Zhao Fan's right hand and pierced directly into the insect mother's body. Immediately afterwards came the painful scream of the insect mother, and more than a dozen wooden thorns quickly split out of half of the insect mother's body. Ah, what kind of ability is this? The insect mother rolled rapidly on the ground due to pain, and crushed many demonic insects to death. Zhao Fan also took this opportunity to find a place to stay. Zhao Fan would not wait for the insect mother to react, and opened his left eye wide at the insect mother's head. Kamui, no, you actually still have spatial ability. The insect mother yelled in panic, and as soon as she finished speaking, the vortex in the space quickly focused on her head, and there was a snap the next second. A headless insect mother was still twitching and rolling on the ground. It's just that there is no longer the same mental fluctuation as before. When Zhao Fan heard the system prompts, With more than 50,000 energy points, he naturally knew that the insect mother had received the lunch box, and he couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. In order to prevent the insect mother from using any abilities he didn't know about, it was the best choice to take her away in one wave. Although Zhao Fan is so relaxed, it is also because of the special nature of his attacks. Kamui has an almost unsolvable attack method at all times. As for the cutting technique, Zhao Fan used the Sharingan to find the vulnerable spot between the insect mother's carapace and penetrate it. Looking at the demonic insect that started to become panicked, Zhao Fan thought, these are also energy points. Although I don't know why, although these monster insects are of gold level, the energy points they can give Zhao Fan are not as good as those of normal gold level monsters. At least hundreds of them can have the appearance of 30 or 40,000. Zhao Fan also regards this as the characteristics of demon insects, or should it be that the insect mother has the aura skills of the ethnic group? Zhao Fan thought this way, and his right eye felt better. Directly facing the place where the number of monster insects was the largest, the space vortex storm spread rapidly forward from his right eye as the center. Fire style. Explosive wind dance. A spinning fire snake spit out from Zhao Fan's mouth, which directly formed a huge rotating flame with the swirling space storm. Even as a user, Zhao Fan's clothes were slightly wrinkled. If this were the case in the previous life, the clothes would at least have the smell of might corpses that have been exposed to the sun for a long time. Then, the rotating flames in front of Zhao Fan directly swept away most of the demonic insects, because the trees and everything else were eaten by the demonic insects, and the demonic insects themselves were afraid of fire. When a bug touches a bug, it will pass on the flame. This caused the rotating flames to burn more and more fiercely, and at the same time, the demonic insects inside seemed to be on a barbecue, crackling and making loud noises. There was even the smell of roasted insects in the air. The power is pretty good. Zhao Fan whispered. Fortunately, this move does not have major side effects on Sharingan. Although it is a little uncomfortable, it is much more comfortable than Amaterasu. He has also determined that the insect mother does have an amplifying effect on other insects. Now the strength of these demonic insects has obviously dropped by one level. Then Zhao Fan withdrew his gaze and walked aside. This was where Wong Jong was before, with two incomplete skeletons lying quietly on the ground. There are no traces of blood around, so it's obvious that the demon insect's oral skills are quite good. Zhao Fan's attention was not on the skeleton. He looked at it, stepped forward, and picked up two rings from the ground. The demonic insects really don't eat this thing. Zhao Fan originally just took a look, but he was not sure if there would be anything left. The strength of this storage ring was okay, but he didn't know if the monster insect could bite it. In the end, he really found it. Zhao Fan happily received all the spiritual plants and other items in the two rings into his own ring. As long as you don't recognize it, the system will directly absorb it if it has energy. Why don't you thank brother Wong Jong for the express delivery? After Zhao Fan put away everything, he looked at the skeletons of Wong and Jung and sighed. What a good man. Then Zhao Fan came to the corpse of the insect mother again, twitched for a while and now there was no movement. Apparently completely dead. After Zhao Fan Sharingan looked at it carefully, he cut off one of the insect mother's legs. There is an energy reaction on it. I didn't expect that the monsters would actually start saving things, tisk tisk. The Sharingan in Zhao Fan's eyes faded, he slapped his mouth and shook his foot on the ground. After shaking it a few times, a stone with a special pattern fell to the ground. Zhao Fan narrowed his eyes slightly. Why did the pattern on it look like it had been soaked in water? He picked it up and looked at it, but it was still a blurry pattern. He leaned in front of his eyes and observed carefully. Are you already so short-sighted? Zhao Fan cursed secretly and quickly checked the surroundings. The demonic insects were already running away to death, after making sure that nothing was missed. Zhao Fan left here directly. After all, the movement just now in such a big fire would definitely attract other people's attention. And he also needs to sort out his gains and improve himself. Just as Zhao Fan left, many people rushed over. Most of them are those in the illusion where Wong Jong is. After all, they are the closest to here. They heard the noise very early, when the mother insect was screaming. However, the neighing sound directly caused them all to kneel on the ground with their heads covered in agony, which directly stopped them from wanting to come and join in the fun. After seeing the fire here and no other movement, they slowly came closer. In this way, they were still very cautious on the way forward, for fear that the monster that screamed just now would attack them again. When they arrived at the place, the scene in front of them immediately made their eyes widen. OMG, that's a monster insect. There are so many monster insect corpses. Who on earth can do this? My dear, why do these demonic insects smell so good? Everyone was shocked when they saw the large open space that suddenly appeared here and the many dead monster insects in the open space. Some of the arrogant ones even swallowed their saliva several times because the smell of roasted monster insects in the air was so fragrant. Hey, look here. After they realized that there were no living creatures here, these people relaxed and began to observe around. Soon, they saw 2 broken skeletons. Who is this? I'm afraid it was eaten up by demonic insects, right? One person looked at the skeleton and said. Some people in the crowd didn't know what this meant. They had never seen demon insects and didn't understand them much. After the others explained it to them, they directly covered their mouths and ran to the side and vomited. There is no information at all and there is no way to confirm their identity. Everyone looked at it for a long time without any clue, so they simply shook their heads and left. The kind-hearted ones directly brought in an earth-type psychic, dug 2 holes and buried the skeleton. Then they forgot about it. The insect mother is dead. In the dark space, the big snake suddenly spoke. The other figures were also shocked. Just now, they all noticed that the aura of the insect mother had disappeared. They looked at the blank space that appeared again in the core of the secret realm. That place was exactly the location of the illusion where they informed the insect mother. Combined with the difference in time before and after, all the figures were somewhat silent for a while. Being able to kill the insect mother in such a short period of time obviously means we underestimated the opponent's strength. Orochi analyzed that if the original appearance of the black flame was an unstable factor, the death of the insect mother has directly expanded this unstable factor. According to the information sent back by the insect mother, there is only control, space and death. What do you think it means? Bai Crocodile sneered directly and said, what else can it mean? It's just that the insect mother was possessed by the other party. She was controlled in a space and couldn't escape, and then she died. White Crocodile, you are so stupid. It seems to me that the insect mother discovered the other party's method of destroying the illusion, but was accidentally discovered. There is control and space in the message. Doesn't this mean that the other party has space-type abilities? As for the subsequent death, I think it may be that the insect mother has not finished speaking, and it should mean black flames. Maybe the black flame is an ability related to death. The figure with a bird's head with a tuft of green feathers on its head scolded the white crocodile and then directly expressed his thoughts. The other figures suddenly felt that Ying-san was right, and Shonger even opened his mouth and said, I support Takashi. That makes sense. Orochi did not comment on what Bai Crocodile and Ying-san said, but looked at Shui Mosquito and another figure. Blood Mosquito, Kizaru, what do you think? Blood Mosquito pondered for a while before speaking. I think this is the mother insect's warning to us. She died because she underestimated the enemy and was careless. Naturally, she doesn't want us to make the same mistake again. We all know the strength of the insect mother, especially when she brings her children with her. Even we are not willing to fight against her. It can be said that the insect mother itself is a powerful weapon in group warfare. We all know the result, but after the third blank appeared, the mother insect didn't even last an hour and died. It can be seen that the opponent is very strong, and we must not underestimate it anymore. As for the information about the insect mother, I think Ying-san's analysis is correct. After Shui Mosquito finished speaking, he flapped his wings. Kizaru on the side blinked when he heard Shui Mosquito finished speaking, and then continued. That's pretty much it, but you forgot one possibility. Kizaru looked at the figures around him and said word by word, the reason why the insect mother divided the message into 3 paragraphs may be to express 3 meanings. It goes without saying about space. There is no doubt that the opponent is likely to have space capabilities. Control was also put in the first message by the insect mother. Kizaru now had a stern look in his big eyes. I think the insect mother just wants to say that the other party has the ability to control us. So he must die. Otherwise, with the insect mother's ability, how could she not even be able to send a complete message? The other party must have controlled her and then killed her. Kizaru's analysis sounded like thunder in the minds of all the monsters, and they were a little panicked for a moment. At the same time, strong murderous intent permeated the scene. They all knew what Kizaru meant. Even though Orochi is a cold-blooded animal, he felt a little chilled when he heard Kizaru's words. You must know that it has been many years since he had the ability to control monsters. Orochi felt that Kizaru's guess was a bit too bold. However, Kizaru's words still made them all wary. It seems that you all know the seriousness of the matter. Whether my guess is true or not is not important. The important thing is that Lord Jealous Demon's mission cannot fail. We must collect the energy and blood. Besides, since the insect mother is dead, we can't do nothing. The opponent has black flames and space capabilities. There are also suspected of having the ability to control monsters. No matter what, we can't let each other continue to cause destruction in the secret realm. Kizaru said categorically, doubting his ability to control monsters, and all the figures quickly agreed to this decision. They are monsters and will never allow any human being who can control them to appear. I would rather kill the wrong person than let him go. In this case, I'll take a trip, otherwise I'd be really worried. Kizaru stood up and said, "Count me in." The blood mosquito then said, "As long as the opponent is a flesh and blood creature, then it will definitely restrain the opponent. I'm coming too. With my eyesight, I should be able to find the other party's traces soon. By then, with the aerial combat power of me and the blood mosquito, we will be invincible to those humans who can only float in the air." Ying San's bird's head raised slightly, and the green feathers on its head swayed even more. The three of us should be enough to deal with each other. The core of the secret realm is also a top priority, so we can't slack off here. It would be bad if the other party finds this place in some special way. Kizaru looked at Shui Mosquito and Ying San, nodded, and then said to other figures. Immediately afterwards, Kizaru and the three monster beasts quickly left this dark space. After Kizaru and the other demons left, the big snake's eyes were filled with uncertainty. After spitting out the snake letter, the whole snake quickly merged into the darkness and disappeared. 1, 10, 100, 1000, 10,000, 100,000, 1,000,000. Zhao Fan's eyes were filled with excitement as he carefully counted the energy points on the system panel. 1.08 million energy points. The energy points finally exceeded 1 million. It is true that he has been using Amaterasu to burn down the illusion, and he has also absorbed all the spiritual plants and spiritual objects that are useless to him and can be exchanged for energy points. Only then did the energy points reach this level successfully. It's not easy. Zhao Fan felt like he wanted to cry for joy for a moment, and he even endured the pain of overusing Amaterasu many times for this million. We, the common people, are going to be happy today. Zhao Fan was happy in his heart, humming a little tune, and opened the attribute panel that he had not seen for a long time. Host, Zhao Fan, Power Core Mangekyo Sharingan Ability Loading, Itachi, Obito currently a level upgradable loadable. Skills Martial Arts Grandmaster, Mental Power Control, Illumination, Disguise, etc. Ability Skill Column Itachi, Obito Ninjutsu Skills. Mental Power 23,137 Gold level 10,000 Ordinary Crystal Energy equals 100 points of improvement. Strength 700 Gold level 1 point of Force equals 100 caddies. Body 702. Min 704. Energy points 1.08 million plus energy points. Zhao Fan was very happy to see that his mental power had increased to more than 20,000. This was all obtained by enduring pain and absorbing spiritual plants. I'm afraid it won't be long before he can be promoted to diamond again, right? Wall-mounted upgrades are always so plain and boring. Zhao Fan sighed narcissistically, but his physical attributes had increased by 40 points in the past period. It seems that after reaching the gold level, the time required to increase each point of attribute becomes longer. Zhao Fan just thought about it and understood it. After all, his physical strength is different now. Slow down, just slow down. The impact is not big. The most noteworthy thing about Zhao Fan is that not only does Sharingan have the words, upgradable, behind it, it also says, loadable. Could it be that the price of activating Eternity and reloading are the same? Zhao Fan's eyes lit up, and he felt excited, and then a little discouraged. When he had only one choice, he could simply upgrade to the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. Unexpectedly, the system directly gave him a choice between two. I really want it all. Zhao Fan kept struggling in his heart, his eyes kept going back and forth between upgradable and loadable. Maid, let's do eternity first. Let's talk about energy points later. Zhao Fan gritted his teeth, became cruel, and directly clicked on the upgrade. The next second, an energy far exceeding his current full power quickly poured into his eyes. His eyes, which were still aching a little, felt like they were being penetrated by coolness, making him feel extremely comfortable. Even his mental power became more active. At the same time, my right eye, which was already highly myopic, could see the whole world clearly again. Even the vision in both eyes is clearer than when Zhao Fan first obtained Sharingan. Zhao Fan stood where he was, with his sight unobstructed and without opening his eyes, he could see the texture of the leaves on the big tree thousands of meters away. The eternal Mangekyo Sharingan is the serious Sharingan. Zhao Fan felt the changes in his eyes and sighed in his heart. Who made the original Sharingan basically a weakened and degraded version? You must know that Indra's Sharingan in the original work does not have the side effect of vision loss. In fact, the system upgrade Sharingan is to directly upgrade Zhao Fan's eyes to the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. Just like the container of the pupil technique, it has been replaced with an eye that can automatically recover and last indefinitely. No matter whether he is using Itachi's pupil technique or Obito's pupil technique now, there is no side effect of reducing vision. Even if Zhao Fan uses Kamui in his left eye and Amaterasu in his right eye, it is still possible to use abilities at the same time. The only regret is that there are no new abilities due to Eternal Mangekyo. Hey, I should be satisfied now. It shouldn't be too uncomfortable to use Amaterasu now. Zhao Fan also felt that he was a little greedy. Fortunately, after the pain in his eyes disappeared, he took out the patterned stone he got from the insect mother. It can be seen that although the special patterns are covered with the entire stone, some line turns give Zhao Fan the feeling of puzzle pieces. Is this thing useless? Zhao Fan looked at the stone over and over again, and used his mental power to input it into the stone, but there was no reaction. After playing with it for a while, Zhao Fan did not put the stone into the ring, but directly put it into the Kamui space, along with all the other spiritual plants and materials in his ring into the Kamui space. This leaves his ring free. Ahem, there isn't much to gain from the secret realm. It's really too miserable. Zhao Fan sighed while continuing to walk towards the next illusion. Not long after, Zhao Fan came to this illusion. Without hesitation, Zhao Fan stared at the fantasy barriers with his right eye widened, and directly started Amaterasu. Black flames appeared quickly. Compared to Amaterasu during Mangekyo, Amaterasu's burning speed at this time was obviously faster. Apparently rising to Eternity Mangekyo still adds a certain intensity to Amaterasu. It's like turning the gas stove from medium to high. Zhao Fan was also experiencing the changes after using Amaterasu at this time. His right eye was already congested and had the sore feeling of staring for a long time. It's a little uncomfortable, but it's much better than the uncomfortable pain before. This time Amaterasu burned all the energy of the illusion to ashes at a faster speed. Zhao Fan glanced at the crowd exposed from the illusion, a cold look of disgust flashed in his eyes, and then disappeared. What am I doing? A person in the crowd looked at his hands with dull eyes. Under him was a woman who had lost her breath. His eyes were bloodshot and he could not rest in peace. No, this is not true. The man covered his head and shouted, and there were more or less corpses in front of the people who were still alive around him. Maiwan, wake up. Ali, why did you die so miserably? Even your roots were gone. Fang, my bestie, who was so cruel that you lost all your breasts? It's so heartless. No, I didn't do this. It's all an illusion. It's fake. It's fake. Losing the influence of the jealous demon's energy, everyone woke up under the influence of the spiritual objects they carried, and then fell into collapse in response to everything they had done. But they didn't know that right above their heads, there were 3 monsters looking at them. Tisk, 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 human beings are always so unique in their evil nature. If they go crazy, they will look more like monsters than monsters. Kizaru poked his head out from behind Takashi, looked at the crowd below and said. The 3 of them are wrapped in an invisible energy, so no one below can see them. HMPH, humans are all like this. The energy of Lord Jealous Demon only inspires the darkness in their hearts. Blood Mosquito is flying high in the sky. Both it and Ying San can fly. This is just the instinct of flying monsters. It's just that this black flame is so abnormal. Such power has not caused rejection by the rules of the secret realm. Moreover, it hasn't been long since the death of the insect mother, and this illusion has been destroyed again. Doesn't the other party need to rest? Kizaru looked at the few remaining black fires, and his face wrinkled up. It doesn't understand why it has such outrageous abilities, and it's still in a gold-level secret realm. It seems that we need to be more careful. The other party is not simple. Kizaru spoke to Takashi again. Ying-san, the other party should have left not long ago. Have you found any clues? Use it. I know it. I found it. Ying-san rolled his eyes, but fortunately he successfully observed some subtle traces. Look in this direction, it's the location of the next illusion. Kizaru, sit tight, I'm going to speed up. Takashi tilted his head slightly and called out to Kizaru, and then flew forward quickly with a flap of his wings, regardless of whether Kizaru reacted or not. That speed directly created an afterimage, and Shui Mosquito was suddenly confused when he saw Ying San's retreating figure. It's just a mosquito. Hey, wait for me, I haven't gone up yet. The Blood Mosquito shouted with their unique voice of monsters. As a result, Ying San had already flown into a black dot. The Blood Mosquito had no choice but to flap his wings vigorously and chase after Ying San. The fourth illusion is a little further away from the fifth illusion. Zhao Fan has just advanced half of the distance at this time. You still have to visit places you haven't been to, otherwise you won't be able to use Kamui on your way. Zhao Fan, who was walking on his legs, thought so, and after advancing for more than 100 meters, Zhao Fan suddenly stopped. Is there a monster coming? Zhao Fan turned back and looked towards the sky. Sharingan appeared instantly, and he felt a malicious gaze looking at him. Soon, Zhao Fan saw a ball of energy falling from the sky, and a figure landed directly in front of him. With a bang, the figure hit the ground hard, creating a hole and cracks in the ground. The monster Kizaru. Zhao Fan raised his eyebrows and glanced at the yellow ape in the pothole. It looked very similar to a human in shape. Then he raised his eyes to look at Ying San, who was still hovering in midair, and the extremely conspicuous tuft of green hair on its head. PFF'd. Ha, ahem, green-haired eagle. Unable to hold it back, Zhao Fan burst into laughter. How dare you, a human, laugh at me? Ying San could feel the ridicule in Zhao Fan's eyes, and he was angry in his heart. After gliding, he retracted his wings and landed on the ground. At the same time, he yelled at Zhao Fan. Sorry, I'm professionally trained. Generally speaking, no matter how funny it is, I won't laugh. Zhao Fan looked at Yingsan, who walked like an old hen. Although it was 3 meters tall, it had a bunch of flowing green hair on its head and stood straight up to appear majestic. It is completely inconsistent with the divine eagle in Zhao Fan's impression. The corners of Zhao Fan's mouth kept twitching. The visual impact was no less than that of Ma saying in front of Xiao Sa that I am interested in Qian Mu. You were just laughing at me. Human. Ying San hates when people laugh at the green hair on his head. In his opinion, this green hair is a symbol of his success. This is dignity. How can a human being laugh at it? Ha 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 ha, I really can't bear it anymore. Zhao Fan couldn't hold it any longer and burst out laughing. Ying San's little eyes gave him a feeling of stupidity. Zhao Fan's laughter even had a hint of Uchiha's laughter for a moment. It has been more than half a month since he traveled through time, and he has never felt safe and is still very nervous inside. Therefore, he is basically unsmiling in front of everyone. Now, with the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, he doesn't have the side effects of Mangekyo. He's double expanded again. Zhao Fan felt that at least he was invincible in this secret realm. Zhao Fan, who was relaxed, did not suppress himself. Anyway, these two monsters were here to cause trouble, and Zhao Fan was very sure that the malicious eyes were the green-haired eagle in front of him. Just when Zhao Fan laughed at Ying San, Kizaru's eyes flashed with sharp light, and he quickly rushed towards Zhao Fan. At the same time, dark yellow energy condensed on his body. It showed sharp claws directly on its hands and grabbed Zhao Fan's heart. Kizaru knew that the physical strength of gold-level humans was unable to defend against its attacks. What it likes most is to claw out the human heart like this, which is where the energy of blood and blood is most abundant. Seeing Kizaru's movements, Ying-san also flapped his wings towards Zhao Fan. The strong wind directly stirred up countless dust and grass blades, and Zhao Fan was unable to open his eyes. Because Ying-san had already noticed the difference in the patterns of Zhao Fan's eyes, he cautiously wanted to use this method to block Zhao Fan's sight, and at the same time, Kizaru could successfully sneak attack. However, Ying-san did not notice the smile in Zhao Fan's eyes, and Zhao Fan did not become panicked because of their sudden attack. Succeeded. Kizaru's claws were already close to Zhao Fan's heart, and he could even feel the hot human blood in advance. However, a look of astonishment suddenly appeared on Kizaru's face. It penetrated out of Zhao Fan's body, and its attack seemed to be completely in the air. Kizaru, have you ever been kicked at the speed of light? Hearing this human voice, Kizaru had no time to think about it and his body suddenly shook. Without looking back, he directly mobilized the dark yellow energy to quickly condense towards his back. However, Zhao Fan's attack speed was still beyond Kizaru's expectation. Before its energy gathering was completed, he felt a powerful force spread from his back throughout his body. Kizaru immediately spat out a large mouthful of blood and flew out like a cannonball. It seems not. At this time, Ying-san looked at the human in front of him with shocked eyes. At this time, Zhao Fan, who was a bit naughty, shook his head and retracted his legs, and looked back at Ying-san. Is that the spatial ability that the insect mother is talking about? Ying-san thought to himself that the scene just now really shocked it. It turns out that space ability can be used in this way. If you put it this way, wouldn't humans with such abilities be invincible? Thinking of this, Ying-san immediately rejected this idea. Not to mention the consumption problem of human superpowers, this space ability alone must have an upper limit. Ying-san thought and immediately flew up from the ground. As a flying monster, it would naturally not give up its advantage. Human, your space ability is indeed very powerful. But it must have its weaknesses. Ying-san directly gave up the attack method of getting close to Zhao Fan. Kizaru could be said to be the second defensive being among their monsters. Even so, he vomited blood after being kicked by this human. Obviously this human's physical strength is different from other humans. I don't know how long it will take for Kizaru to come back. With this thought, Ying-san kept rotating around Zhao Fan in midair. At the same time, a small tornado quickly appeared with Zhao Fan as the center. The strong wind pressure directly imprisoned Zhao Fan in place, and then Ying-san stared fiercely at Zhao Fan below, and cyan energy quickly appeared. The brains of these monster beasts seemed to be getting smarter and smarter. Zhao Fan felt the strong wind pressure and looked at Ying-san above his head indifferently. Is this the wind blade? Zhao Fan looked at the energy fluctuations on Ying-san's body, and then cyan energy quickly appeared in the small tornado. Countless cyan wind blades appeared around Zhao Fan. What a good idea. Do you want to use this method to test the upper limit of my virtualization? Zhao Fan watched as these wind blades quickly merged into the tornado, immediately increasing the tornado's lethality. Human, I want to see how long you can last. With Ying-san's cry, the wind blade in the small tornado suddenly flew towards Zhao Fan while accelerating. Facing such an attack, Zhao Fan looked at Ying-san in midair, constantly calculating the height in his mind. Countless wind blades passed directly through Zhao Fan's body without causing any harm to Zhao Fan. Unless I encounter space-type powers, no one can hurt me with Kamui. Zhao Fan gave Kamui a thumbs up in his heart, but at the same time he was a little disdainful of Ying-san who wanted to test Kamui's upper limit. What a joke. Not to mention his current Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan's time to use the virtualization ability has been directly extended to 10 minutes. Even the original Obito has a duration of 5 minutes. It's not that Zhao Fan looks down on Ying-san. In his vision, these wind blades and tornadoes require energy to maintain. Even if Ying-san has the same diamond-level characteristics as the insect mother, he can't last 5 minutes under such output, right? How can this human's spatial ability last so long? After less than 2 minutes, Ying-san could no longer sustain the energy output for such a long time. Especially when he saw the unharmed human inside, Ying-san was even more angry and gritted his teeth. Are we just going to give up like this? Why haven't the Kizarukas blood mosquitoes arrived yet? Ying San felt that most of his energy had been consumed. This move was originally used for group attacks, but now it was outrageous to use it on Zhao Fan alone. Unexpectedly, it had no effect at all. And Kizaru was kicked by Zhao Fan and he hasn't come back yet. Did Kizaru sell it to Ying Sandu and run away? There are also blood mosquitoes. Why are they so slow when they grow wings? For a moment, Ying San was a little angry as to why he had to fly so fast. Takashi, we're coming. Just when Ting San was about to leave directly, the voices of Kizaru and Shui Mosquito came over. Zhao Fan followed the sound and saw a blood-colored mosquito that was 1 meter in size flying in the air, and Kizaru was right next to it. Zhao Fan was not surprised when he saw Kizaru. He already knew that Kizaru was not dead. After all, the system did not prompt that the energy points had been credited. However, the bloody mosquito next to him made Zhao Fan take a second look. There is a blood-red energy reaction on this mosquito. It's just that Kizaru is dragging a person on his hand at this time, and the other bloody hand is holding something like a heart, and Kizaru is eating it bite by bite. If you look closely at the person in his hand, there is indeed a blood hole on the chest. Gia. Human hearts are indeed delicious. Kizaru quickly finished the heart in his hand, then shook the body in his hand at Zhao Fan as if in demonstration, and then threw it aside. Zhao Fan naturally knew that the yellow ape wanted to anger him, and it seemed that it had recovered from the injury he had kicked by him because it had eaten a human heart. However, Zhao Fan still felt angry in his heart. At this time, Takashi also stopped flying and quickly flew to Kizaru's side to join them. What's going on with you two? I'm almost exhausted. I can't test the upper limit of this human's spatial ability. What should I do? I can't hit others at all. Hearing Ying San's words, the blood mosquito also recovered from the shock. As soon as it came over, it saw that the human being had no trace of injury at all in Ying San's wind blade storm. It turns out that this is what human beings have in space. The physical strength of this human being definitely exceeds the gold level. I almost lost half my life after being kicked by him. Fortunately, there were a few humans where I flew out, which allowed me to recover from my injuries. It happened that the blood mosquito also arrived, so we came together. Kizaru was a little frightened at this time, but he didn't show it on the surface. He kept staring at Zhao Fan and said to Ying San, "Now that we are all together, I saw the scene just now, so in this regard we need to watch the blood mosquitoes. As long as we prevent this human from escaping." Saying that, both Kizaru and Ying San looked at the blood mosquito. The blood mosquito is also a special one among the monsters. Its ability has nothing to do with space. But the blood mosquito's attack can indeed affect space. According to the information they received from humans, any space defense capabilities need to be carried out in a stable space. Well, if you cooperate with me, I will take the first sip of this human's blood. At this time, the blood mosquito also knew that it would be the main force in the next battle, so he naturally said it unceremoniously. In its perception, Zhao Fan is like a moving blood bag, which has unparalleled attraction for it. If it can absorb Zhao Fan's energy and blood, it will definitely reach the diamond level directly. Are you done discussing it? Then go die. Zhao Fan chuckled lightly. After thinking about it in his mind, he decided to leave a monster as a memory to read in order to obtain the location of the core of the secret realm. Before he finished speaking, Zhao Fan's left eye was already focused on Huang Yuan. Huang Yuan's behavior just now successfully attracted Zhao Fan's hatred, so Zhao Fan's first target of attack was Huang Yuan. Kamui. Space fluctuations appeared quickly, and before Kizaru could react, his entire beast was knocked out by the blood mosquito. And its shoulder spilled a piece of blood. At the same time, one arm was directly absorbed by the space. Zhao Fan looked at the blood mosquito thoughtfully. Could he sense the spatial fluctuations in advance? My arm. At this time, Kizaru realized that its arm was gone, and there were signs of tearing on the entire shoulder. It can be said that if the blood mosquito hadn't suddenly knocked it away, it might not have been a problem of losing its arms, but its head. Kizaru didn't expect that it would be seriously injured again after it had just recovered from some injuries, and it lost one of its arms. This human being actually has such space attack capabilities. We must not let him leave the secret realm alive. Although Shui Mosquito was more afraid of Zhao Fan's ability, his murderous intention towards Zhao Fan was also stronger. Such a human genius must not be allowed to grow. Ying San stared at Kizaru in a daze, fearful in his heart. If Zhao Fan had attacked it like this just now, I'm afraid it wouldn't be able to wait for Kizaru's blood mosquito. However, thinking that such an attack power should not be released continuously, the three monsters quickly surrounded Zhao Fan. Through Huang Yuan, they already knew that Zhao Fan was very physically fit. They did not choose to get close, but directly chose to attack from a distance. Kizaru grinned and endured the severe pain on his shoulder. Fortunately, the monster's recovery ability was stronger than that of humans, and the amount of bleeding was now much less. Dark yellow energy surged rapidly, and Zhao Fan suddenly felt that the ground he was on became sticky. Every movement becomes slow and difficult. The cyan energy of Ying San continued to condense into feathers around him. Each feather shone with cold light, and countless feathers flew directly towards Zhao Fan in their adult form. I want to attack Zhao Fan in this way without blind spots. Next to the blood mosquitoes, two miniature half-meter-sized mosquitoes appeared, filled with bloody energy. Their sharp mouthparts made people shudder even more. The three mosquitoes rushed towards Zhao Fan quickly, and the blood-colored energy that filled the air made the blood in Zhao Fan's body begin to boil. Zhao Fan could even see ripples in space around the mouthparts of the blood mosquito. Obviously, the blood mosquito's attack could already affect space. Facing the attack of three monster beasts, Zhao Fan was a little excited. Show your face, little baby. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.